call the meeting to order. Take roll call, please.
Commissioner Atwood,
Present.
Commissioner Brady,
Here.
Commissioner Glissman,
Here.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Here.
Commissioner Petrie, Mayor Healy.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that for this meeting, only discussion of each agenda item remains subject to the 30-minute limit established by the rules and procedures of the city commission, and that each commissioner be recognized for no more than 2 speaking turns on each agenda item. Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner McCarthy, seconded by Commissioner Petrie to apply the rules of our policy and discussion for the night. Any discussion? Mr. Brady.
Are we actually gonna adhere to that?
All right. Any other discussion? All right, we'll take roll call.
Commissioner Brady?
No.
No. Commissioner Glissman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
No. Motion carries. That brings us to the approval of the August 17th agenda. Commissioner Petrie.
I move that we approve the August 17th.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Petrie, support by Commissioner McCarthy to approve the August 17th agenda. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to the minutes. Go ahead.
I move that we approve the minutes for tonight's meeting.
Second.
All right.
Point of order.
Please state the point of order, the rule being broken, Mr.
She's-
Wood.
Yes, thank you. She said the minutes for tonight's meeting. I just want to clarify that it's August 3rd. Thank
You. Is that a point of order or a point of inquiry?
Point of order, misquote the motion there.
Lenore, you want me to repeat that?
I'm all set.
Thanks.
Support.
McCarthy's.
I got it.
McCarthy
We did it,
supported
okay.
it. Bear with me a minute. All right. Ms. Sanchez, if you wouldn't mind seeing me after the meeting for the point of order that was ruled well received for the correction of the motion. And I'll get you a chapter and subsection. All right. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to public comments for the evening. We'll start with, yes,
I'm gonna keep time because our typical timer, unless someone over there is gonna keep time. Are you keeping time? Oh my God, I love it.
okay, very good. All right. This is the portion of our public comments of the meeting, and we have 3 minutes allotted for each member of the public. Once you hear the timer, your turn is over. We kindly ask that you would return to your seat. As you approach the podium, after the chair recognizes you to approach the podium, please state your name for the record and your address. Any public speaking? in the far back.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes. Oh, yep. I'm sorry, sir. We'll have first our County Commissioner Brad Hagedorn approach.
Thank you. Sorry for the confusion. Last month I had to leave. I apologize. I don't have cheeseburgers for the three of you that enjoyed them up on the dais like last month, but I do have a county update. We accepted a live scan fingerprint grant to the tune of $16,190 for the Sheriff's Department. I don't know I know the name, I don't know how to pronounce it, but we've all been seeing the explosive lettuce outbreak. We did get a reimbursement grant of $35,000 to our health department for their combative measures to ensure that Lapeer County residents stayed safe from the explosive lettuce. And lastly, this one is near and dear to my heart, and I think this should be a unifying issue. In the summer of 2019, I lost an aunt to suicide. And currently we are at Lapeer County doing a bottle drive. It's Lapeer County Loss. Local Outreach for Suicide Survivors is hosting a bottle drive to support families in Lapeer affected by suicide loss. Every bottle and can donated helps ease the family's financial burdens during an extremely difficult time. Thank you for helping make a difference. There is 2 drop-off locations, Lapeer County CMH at 1570 Suncrest Drive here in Lapeer. The contact there is Taylor Volpe, or you can go to the courthouse on the 3rd floor, Lapeer County Probate at 255 Clay Street, and see Melinda Allen. With that, I thank you for your time, and I pray that you guys have a good meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Hagedorn. All right, we'll start with the gentleman back.
Thank you. My name's Pastor Rod. I'm in Lapeer, Mayfield Township. So I was wrestling coming here, and I sat under a really great sermon on the weekend in North Carolina, actually. And God kept taking me back to that scripture. So here's real quickly. The short version is this. If you pick up the story in Acts 13, you see John Mark is going with Paul on a missionary journey, and he bails. He gets scared and he runs away. And there's various reasons for that. But you follow it on later in Acts 15. And now Paul and Barnabas are deciding to go on mission, and Barnabas wants to take him with. And the Apostle Paul says, no, we're not taking him with. He's a risk factor. He's too mature. And so these 2 leaders actually have a huge argument. In fact, the word that says here, then the contention grew so sharp, they separated. Now, this is the great news before we pray here in a second. Is if you follow that story all the way through, right in 2 Timothy 4, verse 11. So Paul, who didn't want to take Mark with him, says at the end, Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with you, for he is useful to me for service. So you see a guy going from a scared, a failure, to a conflict, to restoration and love and peace. And so it brings up sort of 3 points here, if you look at it really quickly. So Mark had matured in the process. Mark had gone from a young mind, fearful, to mature. Paul's heart had softened. He had got lots more grace. And Barnabas had seen fruit of his investment. Father God, I just want to thank you for this leadership team. I want to thank you for this room full of folk that care so deeply about our beautiful city. Days away from Lapeer days and the excitement and the carnival atmosphere, we would love, Lord, for this place to have that sense of some folk here need to mature. Some folk need to be Mark and not be afraid and sit back in their calling and move forward. Some people have to be Paul and just have to be a lot more gracious, a lot more caring, a lot more. It's going to be okay because some people take a little longer to catch up than others, maybe. And then perhaps some need to be Barnabas's, where they invest in one another for the fruit of the common goal of the mission. And so, Father God, I pray for these leaders who really care about this town. They wouldn't spend hours on a beautiful, sunny summer day to be sitting in this room if they didn't care. And so, Father God, I pray that as we all come together here, we figure out if we have to do a little maturing ourselves. Maybe we have to have a little bit more grace ourselves. And most of all, Father God, let us invest in one another for the greatness of the kingdom. Lord, we love you, and we thank you for the cross. In Jesus' beautiful name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. That was great.
All right, anybody else? Right here. Oh, Go ahead.
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead. You're fine.
My name is Tona Osco. I am also here to pray. I'll get right to it. I've got some specificity in mind. It's funny how it lines up with what he had said there. God works like that all the time. If you want to join me, please do. If you don't, I understand. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful again for this day. We're thankful for this community. We're thankful for the folks who gather together, for the people who give their time and their effort to try to further the cause of this community. We ask that you help this community to be bonded together in mindful thought of you and your plan for our lives, that you be with all the commissioners and the mayor, and that you help them to shine your light and be drawn closer by the activities that they have. Help those who are seeking to find, help those who are lost to know you. We love you, we thank you in your son's precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Right here.
That's okay. It actually worked out great. I'm glad I went after you guys. My name's Laura Ostrom. I'm a city resident of 25 years, business owner in downtown Lapeer for I keep forgetting, I wish I could find the date, about 22 years, 23 years. I came up here, first of all, I want to tell you guys all, you're doing a great job. Please try to ignore all this craziness out here because we appreciate you guys, okay? I am up here because I just want to point out how important transparency is. This past April, I applied for the Downtown Match on Main grant for $25,000. Changed my world, right? Like I own a hair salon, okay? I have 20 ladies. We're busy. That would have changed our world. And I'm not here because I'm a sad loser. I'm sad because I'm curious how it works, how it's picked, how it's scored, who gets picked, right? Like that's good things. So I asked our DDA president to give me that information. I was ignored for 8 weeks with no answer. I was led to believe, first of all, that my name, that there was 2 applicants this year for Match on Main, that I was one of them. That, not me, my girls. It's not me, it's for my girls. That we were a candidate for it. We were so excited. We waited 8 weeks on pins and needles. We couldn't wait. He came back and he told me that we did not win. Okay, well, show me then how I didn't win. I just want to see how it matched up. 8 weeks went by, you guys. I wasn't even put in. My salon wasn't even sent to the state. I found that out Friday. That's why I'm here today. I'm crushed. I have to get on that stage on Saturday with my band to represent this town. I'm proud of this city. I donate my time. My roots are here. My grandchildren are here. All this effort to recall you, sir, is ridiculous. You're trying to uncover this. This was wrong. If you read it, the email is in there. I gave it to you guys. The email that he apologized because he lied to me. Josh, you know your wife's out there, man. You know what we go through out there. He told me mine was an applicant sent to the state. It was not. Mr. Atwood's wife's salon was. I listen, you deserve it. You deserve it. Amber deserves it. It's hard work. The Whitney won. The Whitney is a new creative art studio that's been in our town for 2.5 years. Good for them. We need that, right? I'm 25 years. I donated everything. I'm not even going to go there yet. 3 minutes. I am so hurt that this happened to my girls. We deserved that grant.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
I'm so sorry, Laura.
All right. Anybody else?
One sec.
Right over here.
Put your effort then into uncovering this stuff, baby. Trust me. This needs uncovered.
All right, so I would ask that you,
What's your name?
oh yeah, sorry, Maria Dingleberry. City of Lapeer resident.
Excuse me,
What's that?
Ms. McCarthy, go ahead.
We have records of what her real name is.
My real name?
Waste
Shut up. Shut up.
Excuse me, please don't address the audience.
Be
It's up
for
here.
real.
And if
This
if
is the
if
problem.
the audience could
This is the
please
problem.
hold
This
on one
is why
second
I'm
so I can
here.
address the
Because you
audience.
guys don't know
You're
how
out
to
of order.
shut people up.
You're out of order. Let me
properly.
address the audience, the rule that's happening. Thank you, officer. Thank you. We're We're gonna get some order first. If the audience would please, each of you have an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. When someone is at the podium, we'll respect their time as well. But we're gonna first address whatever priority that we have with the commission. Ms. McCarthy, you said that we have on record a different name
I
for
do
this.
believe from last time that she spoke, her first name is Alexis and she might be Hunts or Hance or something.
Oh, yeah, Hunt, yep, you got
So
it.
I mean, I just,
Oh, yeah, okay,
it's
great.
just, I
So,
don't think that we.
Then
want-
Alexis Hanks.
I'm sorry, you haven't
This is
been recognized
ridiculous.
to
Do
continue
you realize
speaking
how
yet.
ridiculous it is that you're
You'll
making me
have- you'll
identify
have your-
myself
You'll
to
have your
speak?
turn once we get to
This
the
is what's
bottom of it.
wrong. Transparency, what the
This
fuck
isn't-
ever.
This
My
isn't
Fourth
a
Amendment right
transparency
and my
issue. This
First
is an
Amendment
order
right.
issue, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just stating that our policy is that everybody has the same rules to state your name
Yeah.
and where you live, and your real name.
Yes.
And where you live.
And I've got seven examples of that not happening for your people here. So I'll be letting
You're
the world
welcome
know
to
that.
provide those 7 examples to
I
the
will.
clerk.
I will
The
to
meeting.
the world.
Okay, thank you.
All right, here I go.
I'm sorry, we're still waiting for you to provide your legal name.
She just told the world. Alexis Hunts.
I don't believe that Hunt is the
Okay,
actual
cool.
name.
So my name is Alexis Hanks.
Just a-
I'm a City of Lapeer resident.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
you haven't been recognized to speak yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I get
have.
it.
When I first said my name was
get
Maria Dingleberry was when I was recognized to speak.
you're.
And you cut me
And
off.
I've stopped you because
Yes.
we have to address
Go ahead. Tell me when I can
the
speak. I'm
issues,
ready.
okay?
I am
The
so
commissioners
ready.
can interrupt at any time to call a
Okay,
point of
great.
order, which is what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you need to be
Mhm.
respectful and
Yep.
keep quiet till we get done
Okay.
deliberating,
You got it.
okay? That is the policy.
Keep fucking moving.
Mr. Francis, you understand, you know who this is. Legal name is not being given
It
correctly.
doesn't say legal name in your charter. It says name.
Mr. Francis, I've also called her out of order several times, and she's just used a vulgar word. At this point, how do we reconcile with the policies that we have before us?
Mayor, I think, well, first of all, the policy requires name. It's a lawful condition. We have the rights to establish reasonable regulations to confirm order. I understand she believes it hasn't been enforced. I'm not aware of that. She's given her name. I would advise her to keep her remarks, again, on point, non-slanderous, and move on from here.
Okay.
One more opportunity. If
One-
she's out
one
of
more.
order, if she's out of order again, she has the right to be told that, be told why she's out of order, respond. But at this point, I think we move forward with another opportunity to speak now that her name's on the record.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll start the timer now.
I would recommend that you don't ignore this, just so you know. I would recommend you don't ignore it. Today, I want to bring some concerns that I have about conduct. At the last meeting, a commissioner made it pretty obvious that she was appalled by my actions and my speech. She seemed rather upset that I would ever question the divine virtues and authority of Jeremy Hing. I mean, I had never directed any comments towards her, ever up to that point. So you can imagine my surprise when she addressed me by name, which you made me give, while I sat on a park bench. I'm praying for you and your babies. Motherhood must be very difficult. With that same holier-than-thou look on her face that I'm sure many of you have experienced for yourself. Yet another obvious intimidation tactic from these people, this time veiled in godliness. To insinuate that me questioning your authority must be the result of an illness brought on by motherhood and not what it truly is. It's called civil disobedience. Allow me to explain. You said that you believe in etiquette and manners and that my behavior was disappointing to you because that's not how you were raised. And I'm sure you would love etiquette and manners because it would make it a lot easier to get away with whatever the hell it is that you're doing here. I did say something in that moment that I do want to take back though. I said that you don't think for yourself. After reviewing many meetings since 2023, in search of this deplorable city manager that you're always describing, I realized something. You absolutely do think for yourself. It's just that you're so comedically incompetent, unprepared, and underqualified that you believe everything is a conspiracy and that Mike Womack was the perpetrator. I believe that this was all you're doing, that you are the reason we're in this mess. And Jeremy Hing for mayor was just your opportunity to enact it. I'm sad and regretful that it took all this to realize what a great city manager we had, someone who seemed to truly care about the bettering of all lives in Lapeer, not just a few like-minded religious sycophants. I want to point out a major accomplishment as well. Most of you received between 400 and 600 votes each. But this week, over 100,000 people in Michigan alone watched you solidify your legacies as an embarrassment to all things American. Congratulations. You have lost all trust and legitimacy. You have broken your oath to office. It's time for both of you to resign. And I expect all other commissioners to stop following your lead. Yeah, so.
Thank you. All right, anybody else?
Oh, why not? Let's start it off and give him something to do. Ken Kopnick, that's Kopnick, Oregon Township. I'm also referred to as ZZ Top, the old troll, and several names that I am not supposed to mention because they're foul and vicious and angry and nasty that I've heard me called in several places by several people up there. Now, last week, I was admonished by Lilac, and I say that with the utmost respect, in the hallway. I was shamed for what I said. I'm wondering if she shamed the gentleman that slammed the computer closed. I was told it was a nephew of hers. It might be an imaginary nephew like imaginary aunt. Her husband decided to speak to me as I was walking away from the podium. And I would like to thank Mr. Brady. He spoke up about it. He was chopped off at the knees yet again by you because you didn't hear it. You were going to forgive it for the moment. Now, I'm going to point something out for the people to sit back and look at in these meetings. Whenever there's a motion made, it's drug out, run around to the point it has to be read 5 or 6 times so somebody understands what they're voting on, or a certain person who has psychology background will start to manipulate the motion by suggesting that friendly amendments be made or something changed to get what he wants, the way he wants, because after all, it is Mayor Hing's meeting. He runs it, and everything will be done his way. Miss McCarthy, I commend you. Several times I have seen you flinch during meetings. When somebody will ask you, gee, do you have a question? And you sarcastically go, do you think? Just know that puts you on the list with everybody else that he wants out of here. Because he does not want somebody that will talk back. He does not want somebody that will raise issues. And it will continue till the day he's out of here. I thought at one point it would be good for transparency if we could circumcise you and let people see what you are. But I've come to the conclusion there's no end to a prick like you.
Thank you. Any others? Straight back.
Wesley Weber, City of Lapeer resident. I've been mentioning the work of Jonathan Haidt. He's observed that social scientists have identified at least 3 major forces that collectively bind together democracies. One is social capital. It means that there's extensive social networks with high levels of trust, strong institutions, and shared stories. These are what bind us together as a people. And social media, he writes, has weakened all 3. He says that by constantly being shown polarizing content, what social scientists are seeing is a decline of trust in each other, but especially in government. And because of the rise of polarized social media, whatever was happening before that we didn't know about, we now not only know about, but we are being presented the worst possible characterizations of people and events, or what we are hearing is not even true.
sadly, this seems to be the spirit of our age. A charged political environment, distrust. Who would have thought that in lovely Lapeer, we now have Chairgate, and even alternate news media sites willing to put the blame on one person while hoping to monetize on the outrage. A little bit of disorder, speaking past your allotted time, shouting obscenities in a commission chamber while you speak out of order and are rightly asked to leave the commission chamber is always good for more clicks.
I don't make any money.
But
just so
in-
everyone
Excuse
knows.
me, you're
I
out
don't
of
make
order.
any
That's,
money.
that's your
I'm
last
outta here,
chance.
bud.
Yes,
Shut
thank
the fuck
you.
up. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I'm out of here. Anyways, I don't make money.
Please stop,
You know,
Ms.
I do
Timer.
this out of the good of
Please
the
leave.
country,
No
the
one's listening. Thank you.
Constitution, the First
You can
Amendment.
leave. Go on. Thank you. Thank you, officer.
I think that's apt to make my point. And behind it all is suspicion and distrust. And what I would like for you to do, Mr. Mayor, and our commissioners, is just as much as possible not to lean into it all. It does no good to talk, Commissioner McCarthy, about your hair looking good on AI video because they don't care. And I understand why you're trying to do it, because we're holding up a bingo card, or we see a political cartoon that's derogatory and we wear a shirt in the chamber that says unbelievable. But by leaning into it, you are unintentionally creating the distrust. This might not even be the reason that you're doing it, but you're creating a scenario where the purveyors of outrage are now emboldened to do more and more and more and more. And our citizens come in and they do things in the chamber that they'll look back at when they're older and more mature and shake their heads that they were capable of such things. If I heard it right tonight, one of our city residents has said that the Downtown Development Authority director told her that she had been submitted for a grant when she never actually was submitted for it. My sister works there, and she's told me about this also. I think this needs looked at. This is the kind of stuff I would like you to do. Start trusting one another enough to look into
Thank
these
you.
things. And Edward, yep.
Thank you. Any others tonight? Right in the back. Back row corner. Yep.
Okay, this is my first time speaking, and I just wrote some notes. I want to address the board. I'm sorry, I got the Karen Miller, and I'm a Lapeer City resident. I want to address this board regarding the chaos and the confusion that happens at these meetings. And I get the impression that all of you might be Christians, and I'm wondering why you all can't get along. I have a suspicion of what part of the problem is, or a couple of the problems are. And I want to share a couple of verses from the Bible regarding Mr. Womack. And I want you to take this to heart. The Bible says, "For with the judgment you have meted out, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For what you sow, you reap. Let us not pass judgment on one another any longer, but rather decide never to put a stumbling block or hindrance in the way of a brother." Thank you.
Thank you. Any others?
Will there be a second comment time?
Over here in the back corner.
Gigi.
We're not doing question and answer right now, but the agenda. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're not doing question and answers. You can look at the agenda.
Heidi Helfer, Lapeer. One topic I wanted to broach today is one that has continued to be noticeably disregarded, and that is the topic of suicide. Coincidentally, what Mr. Hagedorn brought up. There were a couple different instances in June where board members made statements about committing self-harm, with one also indicating the desire to harm another, in response to discussions of which they were not supportive. That is the only reason. At one meeting, Ms. McCarthy stated that she was going to shoot herself as well as Mr. Atwood. At a following meeting, Ms. Glissman muttered a statement about killing herself. And as if that wasn't bad enough, during comment time, Mr. DeAngelis defended Ms. Glissman, saying that some people just don't get sarcasm, making light of a serious topic of suicide. In both instances, any attempt by Mr. Atwood to address the fact that it was careless to be so unserious about such a weighty topic was dismissed. Following all of this, at the first meeting in July, an extremely distraught man spoke during comment time about how his daughter had just tried to quote unquote unalive herself. And according to the father, this was not long after she'd seen and listened to the videos of the meetings and had heard what the aforementioned board members had said about committing self-harm. While surely there were circumstances that played a significant role in the girl's decision to attempt suicide prior to hearing the comments of the board members, those comments could have been a tipping point for her. What seems most egregious to me is that what this man had spoken about was never addressed by those who had made the offhand remarks about self-harm. No apologies from any of the parties involved, silence from those who tacitly supported the guilty parties, nothing, nada. The fact that no one has taken any accountability for their words is incredibly disrespectful to the father and his daughter. It is also yet another example of an ethical breach of conduct on the part of the board majority, and further demonstrates their lack of real concern for people in this community. In addition, it reveals their willingness to do what is expedient for themselves, as opposed to doing what is ethical.
Thank you. Any others? Right here in front.
My name is Yana Yakupchik. I live here in Lapeer. I would like to use my time to be silent and ask for the room to be silent and just reflect and think on the words that have been said so far. We need pause. And I ask for that now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Lenny, or Ms. McCarthy, apologize.
I move to approve the consent agenda for August 17th, 2026.
Support.
All right. Moved by Commissioner McCarthy, support by Commissioner Glissman to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to the bill listing. Before we proceed with the bill listing, I have a quick update for the commission on some billing that was brought up at the last meeting. Commissioner Brady and Commissioner Atwood asked for a breakdown of Bodman Engagement 1 invoices to date, and I have had a chance to review the invoices on file with HR through June 2026. On the most recent June invoice, I found 4 entries that belong to the Engagement 2 matter rather than Engagement 1. Those charges will be reallocated to Engagement 2, and I've spoken with Mr. Graves at Bodman to confirm the correction is made. With that reallocation applied, my current estimate is that Engagement 1 billing to date totals approximately $9,978.79 within the $10,000 budget that the commission authorized for that engagement. The July 20 meeting, however, carries time for both engagements. So I expect that the final Engagement 1 bill from that meeting, when it comes through or when they process it, would be roughly $3,363.75, which would carry Engagement 1 past that authorized amount. And so as for that reason, I would recommend that the commission tonight would consider a change order adding $3,500 to the Engagement 1 before that invoice is processed at their offices. So the authorization will, if we do that tonight, the authorization will stay ahead of the billing. These figures are estimates, which is why I'm asking for a rounded number up, pending Bodman's final invoice and confirmation of the reallocation. Additionally, even though this wasn't asked for, I'll give it on the Engagement 2, the investigation. I want the record just clear about my role, just some of the things that were said at the last meeting. I want to add some clarity here. It was limited to the initial communications, which consisted of determining whether action was necessary, whether a new engagement was warranted, and then transferring and coordinating contact between the investigator and the staff. From that point, Bodman's investigator, Carrie Cahill, took over. Neither I nor the Mayor Pro Tem gave any further instructions. We asked only for occasional updates on process and timing. When the investigation was complete and we were notified, I coordinated the agenda item. That engagement remains ongoing pending the August 24th special meeting. And I have nothing to report there budgetary-wise, only for what we were discussing regarding Engagement 1. With that, we are looking at the bill listing on our agenda. And I don't believe we have a motion on the table, so. Yes.
I believe we do have a motion that says to approve. Oh, no, we don't.
No one made it.
Oh, all right. Mr. Mayor, can I do it? I move that we approve the bill listing for August 17th, approve the bill listing for August 17th, 2026 in the amount of, well, $1,430,995.12.
All right, made by Commissioner McCarthy, second by Commissioner Petrie. Any discussion, Mr. Brady?
Yeah, my math is coming out a little differently than yours is. So I guess I'd be permitted to just walk through the numbers, maybe numbers and dates, and I will not address anything that would fall in that middle column, just numbers and dates. So I was able to see adjusted work done on 518, 519, and 520, which is what you had referenced just now. And it looked like the total to be transferred was $1,256.63. Is that what you have?
No.
Okay, so that's from the email that we got.
Yeah.
From Aaron Graves that
Correct.
was dated today.
Yes,
So you have different information than the
Yes.
email that was there.
yes.
Okay,
There was additional communication that continued past that point.
okay, because I was in at like 1 o'clock today to try to get prepared for the meeting.
Okay.
And I was only able to see the one email that we had.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that there is more work being moved, more cost of work being moved from 1 to 2?
Yes.
Can you,
There was a quarter of an hour that was still remaining as part of a discrepancy. I had marked up the invoice and sent it to Mr. Graves. And his numbers didn't reflect my numbers, what I thought. And I called him probably around 1 p.m. today and just asked him, hey, look, I saw your email from this morning. It doesn't seem to align with my understanding. Can we discuss what maybe there's a misunderstanding here? We discussed it a little over the phone. He pulled it up, looked at it, and he said, yeah, I see what you're talking about, but he disagreed with me. I thought that there was still another 0.5 that should move over, and he asserted that 0.25 is actually the correct amount that was still in discrepancy. And I said, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to squabble over another 0.25. You know your hours better than I do, but it was marked in the invoice in such a way that it raised my concern.
okay. So just taking it from what it was in the email that we had received from Graves, I thank you for filling me in on the conversation. I had us at $10,108.17 for Bodmin 1 on a not to exceed 10,000. We do know, and I think we both agree, Bodmin has been here and there's more billing coming. And you suggested a change order to the effect of what?
I'm suggesting a change order to the effect of $3,500 to cover what I estimate after talking with Mr. Graves to be about $3,363.75 that will be cycling through at some point.
Yeah, it'll be more than that, but, so on a two not to exceed 10,000, we're exceeding, and I'm not sure at this point we can ask our treasurer to cut the check for anything more than 10,000. So I'd like that to be clarified. And then, well, I have more. So if we want to clarify that now.
Yeah, I'll clarify now. I made it clear that after working with Mr. Graves on the phone this afternoon, his accounting and my accounting come out to $9,978.79. So we are not over the 10,000, and we're going to, I'm recommending to the commission that there will be billing eventually that will exceed, and therefore we should get ahead of it and make a change order. As of today, we are not over, but we will be if we don't do something about it. And that's that. I made it very clear. So
Okay, I have more. So work done January, February, March, April, May. Sorry, I always mess those up. May 18th, 19th, and 20th is being assigned to Bodmin 2, the investigation.
that's correct.
Correct. Okay. The motion for Bodmin 2 was May 21st. So we're billing work for 3 days prior to the commission making a motion. And I believe that's prohibited by our charter. Charter 415 has a pretty specific explanation of when we can pay special counsel. And it says that we should have that in agreement before we get any work done. So I'd like us to look at that charter prohibition, really, and then I'm wondering how it is that we can have 4 days worth of work happening before the commission ever said yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Francis, if you wouldn't mind pulling Charter 415 up and have a quick read of it, and then I'll have you advise from here and answer. I asked the same question of Mr. Graves, recently during all of this, because I anticipated the same question when I was reading the billing and disputing the discrepancies that I found in it. The answer given to me, and you can confirm this as an attorney yourself who has to deal with billing and preparing for engagements, I was given counsel on those 3 days prior to the 21st, whether we had a there, whether it needed to be a second engagement, whether there should be a conflict of interest, whether there should be a different person assigned to it, so you can't have an engagement without knowing you need an engagement. So it was consultation leading up to that point. And it's clearly marked that way in the invoice that is privileged, which is to the disadvantage of the public right now because I can't read those things, but I can say that the words investigation and the investigator's name was even listed inside of that description as well. And it's very clear that their engagement to billings. Yes, they precede the 21st, but I was told that when you're taking counsel, that it's perfectly legal and it's applicable to add it to the invoice billing for that engagement once it's been approved. If it doesn't get approved, then it gets written off as a non-billable item that never received an engagement or contract.
Yeah, Mayor, so I think the relevant provision of 415 that Commissioner Brady is referring to, the second sentence, no compensation to special legal counsel shall be paid except in accordance with an agreement between the commission and the attorney or special counsel made before the service for which some compensation is to be paid has been rendered. I haven't spoken with Mr. Graves. I haven't seen the invoices, so I'm a little bit at a disadvantage for speaking to content. What you've represented that Mr. Graves said is an accurate statement for how the legal practice works. I would say most of our clients don't have a charter provision that has that sentence at the top.
Yeah. And it seems that the sentence is a little bit, I mean, you could read this a couple different ways, can't you, Mr. Francis? It seems like there's no compensation to special legal counsel shall be paid except in accordance with an agreement between the commission and the attorney. Special counsel made before the service for which the compensation is to be paid has been rendered. It could be that when we sign the engagement, we would have to get that verbiage too, but that would be an agreement to pay something. I don't know if the verbiage says before or after or during or any time or within the confines of that particular scope. It doesn't matter, but we don't have that before us, so we don't know how we should read this.
I have not seen, nor am I aware if there's a second Bodman 2 engagement.
There is.
Okay, I know there's a Bodman 1. My further comment would be it would be routine, and again, most clients don't have this language. It would be routine if a client called me under an engagement letter that spilled into another engagement in particular, that I would bill time on that first engagement until I got till it was clear that there was going to be a second engagement. But I haven't reviewed the invoices. I can't really comment on any of that.
May I ask you also, Mr. Francis, if there's ever been a time where you've done some work before there's been a contract or an engagement, and then, so you're saying this is a normal practice in law?
Yeah.
And so you've done this and you've billed after the contract was signed. Has that ever happened between you and the city of Lapeer?
Not that I'm aware of, Mayor. I didn't, for example, did not bill to attend the interview with the city or prepare the RFP for the city.
Okay.
We as attorneys do not have to have written fee agreements. That's not a legal requirement. So yes, I have certainly performed services prior to an engagement letter.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Mr. Brady.
Most clients don't have that. We do have that. When I read that, I thought, wow, that is oddly specific to be included in our charter, for it to say that you cannot pay a special counsel. That's like, if I could have drafted that for this moment, I would have drafted it exactly the way that it is. You cannot pay special counsel. They cannot bill for work until that agreement. What if on the 21st we would have said no? Where does the bill go then? Bodman 1.
No, Mr. Graves was very clear that he would have been a non-billable item. That the engagement didn't get approved, so he would therefore not be pursuing it and the consultation would have been free.
But it is being billed
Well, because we approved the engagement.
on the 21st.
Yes.
So
So he takes the consultation and applies it to the engagement it belongs to.
So the work for Bodman 2 started on the 18th. You're putting
The consultation for Bodman
the
2
work,
started,
billable hours for Bodman
Yeah.
2 started on the 18th.
according to the, yes, I guess, whatever you're
Well,
trying.
not originally. Originally, Bodman dissected the bills the other way.
Yeah, he took the date and split it. And I asked him, why did you do that?
Okay.
And he said that it was an oversight with the billing. And so he had the billing take care of it from there. And then he got back to me and told me what his number is.
I cannot, in good faith, there are laws about whether we knowingly proportion money. This is city tax, though. These are people's dollars.
Mhm.
I cannot look at that charter and say, Miss Hannah, please pay that bill. I cannot do that. Okay, because when I read the charter, it says you cannot have a bill for special counsel before the service for which some such compensation is to be paid has been rendered. There has to be a written agreement. Our written agreement is dated 5/21. Our
Mr.
bills
Brady.
are coming back to us now.
Mr. Brady,
5/8. Why are you interrupting me?
because you're fixated on one portion of the sentence, there is a portion that says, well, it says no compensation to special legal counsel shall be paid. There is a word right here in the center of the sentence that says, except in accordance with an agreement
Made
between the
bef-
commission
made
and the attorney.
before, made before. But this is service being done afterward. What I think happens is that we need to get under $10,000. That's my impression, is that we're trying to now slide in under $10,000.
So you're suggesting,
I'm
I'm asking a
What it
question.
looks
You're
like.
please
please don't suggest
Please.
anything for me.
Please, I'm asking for clarity.
I'm not
asking for
trying
clarity.
to answer you for clarity. You're about to put words in my mouth.
No, I'm
You
not.
can
I'm
speak
asking for
yourself.
clarity.
You can speak for yourself.
Point of order.
I have the
Yeah.
floor.
Stop. We're gonna hear the point of order. What rule, please?
Let me look it up, but challenging and I gotta look it up. Sorry.
Mr. Mayor, who had the floor?
Get to it.
You have the floor, Mr. Brady, and I was asking a question for clarity.
you
We were
interrupted
going
me.
back and forth several times in that
That's not
dialogue.
proper. I didn't
It's
solicit
the very
that.
thing that I think that you hope we can do at times without being so rigid with the rules, and I'm allowing some of that flexibility. I've heard a lot of critique from the public on that
So
regard.
beneficial to me now for you to allow
Mr.
that
Brady.
at this point. Thank you, sir.
And we did a great job going back and forth for a few minutes there, until finally it was not beneficial to you anymore.
It's my floor, sir. Once you assign the floor to me, you should not be interrupting me.
Once there's a point of order, you shouldn't be speaking. I'll call that out of order if you'd like. And then we'll see what the point of order is and see what the ruling will be there. I'm not sure what the point of order is gonna be, but right now, when there's a point of order, you don't speak. And you've done it a lot. Ms. Sanchez, if we could just record that Mr. Brady has been out of order while a point of order was being considered by the chair.
This guy.
I have it as Robert's Rule 61, chapter, or Charter 6.6, and Rule B4. It's bringing disorder, prevents business from proceeding. It's just being argumentative in general. Let's just agree to disagree and step on to the next
Okay.
sentence.
The chapter and provision for that, Ms. Sanchez, if you wrote it down, I will find that point of order well received.
I would seek to retain the floor, sir.
Please, you may.
Under Lapeer City Charter, Section 4.15, the city cannot compensate special counsel except under an agreement made before services are rendered. The $1,256 worth of investigation work on May 18th, 19th, and 20th occurred prior to the commission's authorization vote on May 21st under Motion 135. Furthermore, even accepting this attorney's proposed adjustment, Engagement 1 totals, in my estimation, $10,108.17, which exceeds the strict $10,000 cap established by this commission under Motion 303. Authorizing payments in excess of voted caps or in direct violation of our charter puts this body in conflict with the Michigan Uniform Budgeting Accounting Act, MCL 141437 and MCL 750490, which governs the lawful disbursement of public funds. I cannot vote to approve public expenditures that violate both our city charter and state law.
Thank you. Mr. Brady, I'm going to ask the clarifying question I was hoping to ask. And Mr. Francis, after that, I'm going to ask you to just verify some of the considerations that Mr. Brady has raised, because I think that he's got some good points there, and I think that we need to consider them thoroughly, which really comes down to engagement 2 and not engagement 1. I'm not sure if engagement 2 billing is inside of this bill listing. Certainly engagement 1 is. Engagement 1 is not going over $9,978.79, no matter how this charter provision turns out. So that's a fact. It's under 10,000 for engagement 1, and that will remain that way until we get new billing, and we need to get ahead of it. Now, in terms of the clarifying question that I had for you, Mr. Brady, are you suggesting that when we look at itemized billing and it says workplace investigation, investigator Carrie Cahill, and we know that she had nothing to do with engagement 1, we know that engagement 1 is not an investigation, are you suggesting that we pay that on engagement 1 even though we know it is not inside the scope of engagement 1, and the question has been raised and it has been answered that it is not engagement 1? That is where you want to classify it, though, so that you can make a point about it being over 10,000. Is that correct?
Ms. Carrie Cahill's name, along with Mr. Gary Falk's name, appears before May 18th on at least 2 occasions.
In billing?
Yes.
Well, then that would be other billing that we need to reconsider for engagement 2, because Ms. Cahill was never a part of engagement 1 in any capacity, not even advisory. Not even for a question of grammar in an email.
It seems as the sole authorized contact, you should be more familiar.
I am very familiar with it. And as far as I can tell, that activity, those activities in question are clearly marked for engagement 2. And you're saying this so that you can make a point, because your point wants to be that we're over 10,000.
My point is that
And
investigation 2
and
started
in order
4
for
days
that to
before it was
work, you
approved.
need to apply engagement 2 billing to the engagement 1.
That's not entirely true. You're over 10,000 and you moved.
No, we're at 9,978, and
Not according to
and
Graves at 1
Miss-
o'clock today.
And I'm telling you, Mr. Graves has made an adjustment, and I'm sure there will be an email forthcoming once he's worked it out with billing.
That's incredibly convenient, sir.
Well, that's, you know what? It is convenient. You're right. It is convenient.
It's almost as if you could get that number just under $10,000 via email.
Yes, point of order. Can you please state
I
what
don't
point
know
of
the
order?
number, but he's basically telling what your motive is.
Yes, and I find your point of order well received. I will find that Mr. Brady is out of order for the 3rd time in this meeting, and then this particular agenda item, violating the rules of conduct of discussion in section D6 of our rules and policy procedure for the city commission. And he is addressing my character and my motives rather than sticking to the business at hand. And I find that well received. Ms. McCarthy.
Okay, so I understand that it was consultative because you went to them when I'm gonna assume you got the letter, email, whatever you got, and you went to them, that was consultative. And then you said in this meeting that Mr. Graves from Bodmin said that if we had not agreed on the 21st for the engagement, then that would have been a write-off of his legal fees. Because that's how the legal work, and it is, it's how the legal work works, but we have very specific language. So my question is what is being asked? Is that anything related to, is what Mr. Brady is asking for and what would be perhaps accepted by others on the commission? Is what they are asking for us to go back to Mr. Graves and Bobbin and say, while you gave us this type of information to tell us what we need to do, blah, blah, blah. We're not willing to pay that due to our writing and our contractual charter. And so you're gonna have to write off that amount of money. Because we're just not going to be able to pay you that money because that's the way our charter is written. Is that what you're asking, Mr. Brady, that we tell him that we can't take anything that happened prior to May 21st because of our charter? And that would be satisfactory to you if we did not pay those fees that show up on those dates related to Bodmin 2. Would that be satisfactory to you?
Yes, I think we should adhere to the charter.
So you're saying yes, not all the other, just yes, you are saying yes. That would be satisfactory to you if we went back to Mr. Graves and said, we're not going to pay you for anything that was on Bodmin 2 prior to the May 21st engagement acceptance vote. Yes?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, you may answer the question.
That seems like one of the most desirable outcomes would be not to pay for work that we didn't have said yes to.
Thank you for your answer.
All right, Mr. Francis. I think where I was gonna head with you, Mr. Francis, was exactly where Ms. McCarthy landed. Is there a way that we can work with Mr. Graves? Is that something that attorneys typically do for a consultation when we discover some specific language in our charter that may prevent us from back paying that consultation once the engagement is accepted?
Yeah, I have no idea, Mayor, what Bodmin's internal rules are. It's not an unusual request if that request is made.
Okay.
In our work.
Very good. And to follow up on that, would any of the concerns that were raised by Mr. Brady in terms of our charter and state statute, would that arrangement fulfill or at least bring us into compliance?
Yeah, Mayor, I think there are a couple of things at play here. The arrangement that you just spoke about, if Bodmin agrees to it, there would be no issue.
Very good.
The issue with the $10,000 and whether we're over that at a future meeting on Bodmin 1, I would view as something akin to a change order in a construction project. That's something that would have to be approved by the commission prior to, and I don't know process-wise, but prior to Bodmin being paid, that would have to be approved, any change order.
So we should do that rather quickly if we know that something like that's coming.
You could do it either way, Mayor.
Okay, very good. All right,
Call the question.
yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Call the
Sorry,
question.
there's called the question.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor, point of order.
What's the point of?
Just
No, wait a second. No. You're not gonna stack points of order. A call to question immediately stops all discussion.
My point of
There's
order
no
is-
point of order.
My
at
point
this
of order is about to call the question. I can make it a point of inquiry if you want, but
You can't make either, because we have a call to question. We're gonna take a roll call vote on it.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
There's a second.
Mr.
We
Mayor,
had a
point of order.
Commissioner McCarthy
Point of order,
Call
Mr.
the-
Mayor.
called the question, seconded by Commissioner Petrie. We'll take a roll call.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
Your point of order is not well received,
Mr.
and
Mayor.
it violates and disrupts the call to question process.
Mr. Mayor, was the
I've
member
already ruled
recognized?
on your point of order,
Was the
Mr.
member
Brady. You do not have
recognized?
the floor. You are out of
I
order.
appeal the ruling of
You
the
are
chair.
out of order.
I appeal the ruling of the chair.
You cannot appeal a ruling of a chair when you do not have the floor and your point of order is dilatory and it violates the process of the call to question. We are now going to take a call to order vote by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Ms. Petrie. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brady,
No.
Commissioner Glissman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie.
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
No.
Surprise.
All right, the call to order fails. And Ms. Sanchez, I just want to be clear that we have Mr. Brady out of order 2 times in that exchange, one for a dilatory point of order and the second for not having the floor and not yielding when the chair called for order. All right? Ms. McCarthy?
I'm sorry, I believe I'm doing more than 2 times, but
Uh,
both of us.
This is your second time.
Both
I'm
of us-
marking it now.
Both of us have spoken 2 times, so if there's other people on the commission that would like to speak, Mr. Brady and I both have to now remain silent.
That's correct. And no others have spoke, only Brady has spoken twice and McCarthy twice.
Mr. Mayor, a point of
you-
inquiry.
I'm not going to take a point of inquiry from you right now. We are at 30 minutes and we are ending the discussion on this item. So we have a motion to approve the bill listing. Ms. Sanchez, can you remind me who made the motion and who supported it?
Motion was made by McCarthy, supported by Petrie.
Very good. We will take a roll call vote.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie.
Yep.
Commissioner Atwood,
No.
Commissioner Brady,
No.
Commissioner Glistman.
Yes.
Motion carries. That brings us to administrative reports.
Mr.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion.
Sure.
I would like to make a motion for a change order to the Bogman 1 budget to increase it by $3,400.
All right, motion by Commissioner McCarthy, second by Commissioner Petrie to increase the engagement 1 with Bodman by $3,400.
Point of order.
Discussion. Mr. Atwood, please state the point of order.
Section 4158, call for the orders of the day. And if the rules are suspended, then it needs to be passed by 2/3.
What else did you transfer to this? Specifically?
All right, I find your point of order not well received. This is considered a general order and it's fine to be inserted. All right,
I appeal the ruling of the chair.
Support.
all right. We have an appeal to the ruling of the chair. Made by Commissioner Atwood, support by Commissioner Brady. We will take a roll call vote.
Is there debate?
I'm not going to defend it. Would you like to give more weight to your appeal? You disagree with my ruling?
Yes, I feel like this needed to be added to the agenda prior to the approval of the agenda. You stated yourself you're moving on to administrative reports. This specific motion was not in the agenda or added to the agenda prior to the approval.
Okay,
If you're gonna suspend the rules, it has to be a 2/3 vote to add that to the agenda at this time.
yeah. This isn't a suspension of the rules. I'll offer my rebuttal to your appeal. This is not a suspension of the rules. The language itself is pretty clear. I'll read it out loud. Only that they exist. It says here by a single vote, a series of special orders or general orders or a mixture of both. This is defined as a general order, what she is doing. What we did before in the bill listing on D1 would be considered a special order according to this definition. And that such a series is called an agenda. That means that both can exist inside the agenda, one marked and one not. And so therefore, that is my ruling. You've made your appeal. I've made my rebuttal, and we are going to now take a roll call vote on the appeal. Do we overrule the ruling of the chair? Yes or no?
Sure.
Roll call, please. No, we're not taking any more. You had your chance. You're done.
Read
Surprise.
read 4163.
We're taking a roll call.
Commissioner Glissman.
I need to have that, clarified for me, please, thank you.
Yes,
I want to know what I'm voting on, they're stacked again.
it's an appeal.
Stack.
And so the appeal is, do we overrule the ruling of the chair?
No.
Commissioner McCarthy.
No.
Commissioner Petrie. No. Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Surprise.
The appeal does not carry.
Could you just read 4163 out, please?
All right, we're going to take a short recess if the commission would please, so that I can look into Mr. Atwood's continued appeal, even though it did not pass. So I want to be fair and I want to make sure I understand it all. Can I have a motion for a recess, please?
So moved.
Oh, so moved. Is there support?
Support.
All right, moved by Commissioner Atwood, support by Commissioner McCarthy. We will reconvene in 5 minutes, so 7:48. Bring the meeting back to order. After continued review of Robert's Rules 4158 and 4163, along with our charter and policy of the rules of policy of our commission meeting, I have determined that I'm not going to revisit the ruling, the appeal, or go backwards on that because the ruling still stands. And I will offer a short explanation about it. We are in D1, the bill listing, and the motion made by Commissioner McCarthy is germane to the topic of billing, and that is allowable. Had she introduced something completely non-germane to the item at hand, then I would have to concede to Mr. Atwood's initial point of order. So I will uphold everything that we've taken action on up to this point. And we are going to move forward with the motion. And Ms. Sanchez, can you remind us the motion if there was a maker, and we know it was Ms. McCarthy, or if there was support, please.
Oh, I have the maker, I'm sorry, okay. To increase the Bodman PLC engagement one. Budget. Yep. In the amount of $3,400.
All right. And that was support by, okay. Discussion. Mr. Brady. Oh, you were the,
I'm a second.
you were the support, so.
I just have
you
one
first.
question. If we are increasing it and we're past June 30th, Ms. Hannah, would that go into the 26-27 budget, that additional 3,400? Or will we amend something?
It's my understanding that the work that has already been paid for is through June 30th.
Okay.
So any future work has been done in July and August, and all of that would go against the 26-27 budget.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Brady.
My question is, are we changing the not to exceed amount? And my statement is, you are underestimating the amount of known billable hours as stated so far.
Would you,
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
would you prefer, Mr. Brady, that there was a different amount set for the not to exceed based on?
Are we changing the not to exceed amount?
I think that's what we're,
My motion was to.
Yeah.
My motion was to increase the Bodman budget by $3,400 on top of the 10.
so is there a different figure you had in mind, Mr. Brady?
Yeah.
What would that be?
More.
Would you like to offer a suggestion, please?
Are you gonna remain the sole contact? Probably like $50,000-$60,000, I would guess.
Ms. McCarthy.
I need clarity here because I'm a little bit dumbfounded. I know it's a bit sarcasm to say that you would like to increase the Bodman one, do not exceed budget to 60,000. But in all honesty, because it's ridiculous, that's Bodman one. In all honesty, I mean, do you want to increase it by $5,000? Are you trying to increase it by 2,000? What are you trying to increase it by? I just need clarity so that we can get the motion across the floor and move on to the next item of the agenda meeting.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Brady.
I understand it's probably my second time speaking. We get, FOIA request the mayor tags Bodman. The mayor decides he wants to work on this little pet project, it goes to Bodman. Just the pattern that I'm seeing is Bodman might as well be our new regular council. Very expensive, $517.50 per hour. That is a lot of money for an hour's worth of work, and every little email, lots of phone calls. Miss McCarthy's been on the phone call with Bodman for Bodman 1. Miss Petrie's been on the phone for Bodman 1. My name occurs in the billable hours for Bodman 1 saying, what are we doing? Mr. Atwood's not named, but he's there. The only commissioner up here who isn't interacting with Bodman, at least on some level, is Miss Glissman. This scope is so far blown out of whatever was originally intended that while I think the actual stated billable hours was 6.5 hours in preparation, and July 20th or June 20th? I can't remember. He was here for 14 hours and worked for 14 hours. But he's only gonna bill half of that to Bodman 1 and half to Bodman. Anyways, it's at least $6,000, but if the situation is gonna remain intact as is, it will even exceed $6,000. I can foretell that. You can do what you want. You have the 3 votes to do whatever you want. I sure wish you would have had a little more foresight, a little more decorum, a little more listening to the dissenting opinion. I've been griping about these bills forever. You can do this. You can spend as much of these people's money as you want to. But if you put it at $3,400, you'll be back in 3 weeks to ask for more. I would suggest that you set a final limit so that the purse closes up at some point.
I would like
Ms.
to ask
Glissman.
a question, please.
Sure.
In terms of engagement 1, in your opinion, would you say that it's near the end, and that the price of that, the cost of that attorney for engagement 1 is just about at the end of the review?
Yeah, so, sorry, I don't think I made it very clear inside of my comment about the state of engagement 1 and the invoice through June 30th being $9,978.79. So that closes our fiscal year. That closes the billing to date. There is July 20th to contend for. That's what I'm speaking on right now. What I didn't indicate inside of that remark is that there are no future billings for engagement 1. Engagement 1 concluded on July 20th. During the meeting, the intent and scope was all correct. And it remained, in spite of Mr. Brady's insinuation, out of order, not following our rules, calling it a pet project anytime I want, and the scope is blown up and not what it remained in scope. I've never given Bodman a pet project. And no, they should not replace our city attorney, because I work with our city attorney frequently on business that is not related to the scope of engagement 1 or engagement 2. All right. And that concluded, engagement 1 concluded on July 20th. We didn't get to see the concluding product, and we never will, because we didn't get to go into closed session.
Okay.
So we pay the bill, we don't get a product in return. That's it. It's done, it's over, nothing else comes up again.
I just need
Speaker.
some clarification. Because on July 20th, we had a couple of commissioners that chose to not go into closed session for a labor attorney. We hired a labor attorney, which is different than our city attorney because it involved a labor issue. And they chose not to go in. They felt they didn't need to listen to that. I was not here, but was wishing I could go into closed session to hear it, because now I don't get to hear it either. Which I think they made that decision for the commission and all the residents that are paying for something we don't even know. Not sure why that decision, I don't think it's ever been done in the tenure of our city clerk, or while I've been paying attention to this. I can surmise, but I won't. So I'm asking, was our Bodman 1 increased due to the time spent arguing back and forth to not go into closed session, which may have taken just a very few minutes, and he could have been on his way, or not? Was our Bodman 1 increased because a couple of commissioners argued to not go into closed session and made that decision for this entire community?
The answer to that question is yes, and I have discussed that with Mr. Graves at some length today as well, while I was pointing out the discrepancies. I, in some regards, pushed back on him and asked why, how is it even possible that we're facing this at this time? Why wasn't there some kind of heads up? I gave him the example of how we work in our agreements, our contractual agreements with other contractors such as Rowe. We do a lot with them, and we do some change orders there as well. And I gave him some examples, and his answers were simply, first of all, that in the type of work that they're working on, they don't just put down their shovel the minute they reach a certain penny. They have to continue what they're doing, or that's just not how they work. It's not their internal policy, whatever it is. But that was part of the discussion. Then I said, well, how do we get to a point where we're so, we're facing this extra thousands of dollars, 3,400 approximately, going into July. And his point was, there was actually several points, but the two biggest ones that stood out to me were, one, your meeting was longer than anything I've ever witnessed. Your commission is extremely dysfunctional, and you paid the price for a lot of that billing that night. The second was that that he had to field quite a bit of unnecessary communications as a result of people trying to circumvent the chain of order, the contact that was set forth by the motions that this commission, this body had put forth. Mr. Atwood reached out to Mr. Graves on occasion and was demanding certain privileged information electronically and not through the normal channels, to which Mr. Graves had to consult with me, find out what the motions were, read the motions, interpret the motions, confirm with me that this is how he understood the motions, and then formulate answers that Mr. Atwood should have known that he was not designated as the point of contact and that he was asking for things behind the commission's back unilaterally. And so Mr. Graves pointed out that there was a fair amount of that kind of stuff that happened, and that, if those things didn't happen, we would be well within the budget without having to make the adjustments. And if we ever have an opportunity to speak with him through engagement, I mean, that's engagement 1. I don't think that we should be hashing out engagement 1 billing with Bodman or any of their people after the fact at this point through engagement 2. This is the reality that we live in. This is where we're at, and we need to do something about it to move forward proactively rather than hashing it out and going backwards at this point. I've given the updates the best that I can, and Mr. Atwood hasn't had a chance to speak. Ms. Glissman, I'll circle back to you. You've already had one.
Okay. To put the blame on extra billing on 2 commissioners up here is a vast understatement. That there's 5 commissioners and 1 mayor. I'm not the chair. I don't chair meetings. That's the dysfunction and not being able to get through agenda items. That is not on the commission. That is on the chair.
Mr. Atwood, I'm gonna stop you there because you're not talking about billing right now. You're talking about meeting decorum and
You just did
process.
the same thing to me, so.
No, I was
on
talking about billing.
On July 27th.
Mr. Atwood, I'm gonna ask you to remain germane to the topic
Okay.
and not discuss things that are not part of the billing for engagement 1. Thank you.
That's what we're talking about, is adding more to engagement
What you were
one.
just talking about was blaming the chair for the way that meetings run. That
Which
has
goes
nothing to
back,
do with Bodmin
which goes
Billing.
back to Bodmin one spending. You guys just blamed me and Brady for not going into a closed session
Correction.
on Bodmin one.
You guys, whoever that is, okay? we can-
You and Commissioner
Okay.
Petrie just did.
All right. I'm repeating what I was told. I'm not blaming you. I'm asking somebody to account for why their billing is going over what we agreed upon and why I wasn't given sufficient notice.
And you also
And
made
that was the answer that I
mention
received.
of my email.
So instead of attacking the messenger, I would appreciate if you keep your comments germane to the billing of engagement one. Thank you.
Okay, on July 27th, did you okay Bodmin one bills to date?
I don't know. I would have to see the,
You did. I have proof of that.
I'd have to look.
On August 7th, you sent HR department revised bills, which just happened to bring the bills under $10,000. That's after an exchange of emails that you and I had back and forth on the 6th,
Mhm.
to where you said you've spoke with the finance director and the budget is fine, which I agree with that. I made mention that it's not that, it's you exceeded the $10,000 amount. I received no more emails from you. Then come to find out that there's revisions. I came in today at 5:40 to look at those revisions. And now you had made mention that there's other revisions to the revisions. You are the only one sitting at this dais who can validate these bills. And there's so much confusion on what is Bodmin 1 and what is Bodmin 2. So I guess I'm backtracking because we went over the half hour, so I wasn't able to ask my questions. But we did go over Bodmin 1. You acknowledged the bills on July 27th that they were okay. On August 7th, you then said they were not okay after our email exchange. And now the number is even different than your revisions. And the number is different than the Bodman's revisions. So how can you, as the sole contact, justify having the commission guess on the past billing we just approved and the current one? Someone, we haven't had a bill since March 9th. March 9th, which we received in April. We were getting bills for January and February, March. We haven't had a bill since March 9th. My question to Bodmin was, is there work still being done? That was the base of my email. It wasn't trying to boss him around. It was, are you still working? How much is it? And so someone had to have told Bodmin to withhold these bills. Had we received them, we would have been able to better go through this will not exceed $10,000 amount. If the bills weren't withheld, we just received them for April, May, June for the investigation, but not for Bodmin 1 yet. So why did we not receive the bills?
I don't know. That's a good question, Mr. Atwood. You can ask Bodman yourself.
I'm
I-
not allowed to ask
Oh,
Bodmin.
please stop it.
I did ask Bodman,
I'm,
and he said the mayor.
you had an opportunity to go into closed session several times with Bodman and their representation, and you could ask these types of questions to them because they're better suited to answer those questions. I do want to address a couple of things that you're implying here, Mr. Atwood. First of all, I recognize that you're confused. Okay, you said it yourself. You are confused. You said it. Okay, but it seems that you're the only one that's confused, and I'd like to help you understand the best that I can, but I'm not sure I understand.
Excuse me.
Point of order, sir.
Thank you. Point of order. I'm sure it's,
No.
yeah.
Well, that, but
Yeah,
these two do
okay.
not,
I can't hear. I'm
cannot
trying to hear.
address the crowd.
Well, I'm trying to hear. So
It doesn't matter, the rules are the rules.
He's right, I did.
And this is the third time you've done it tonight. So I'm just saying,
They can,
please,
yes, he's right. If
say
you
point
have a
of order.
problem, say
That-
point of
That's all
order.
I'm asking. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble, just say point of order.
All right,
Thank you.
We're-
That was it. You
we're,
don't have to rule on it, I just,
I'm not gonna rule on those. Mr. Atwood is in agreement. Ms. Sanchez, we don't need to record those points of order. It wasn't even a point of order in the one case. They were speaking to the crowd when they should have point of order. So there's nothing to record there. Mr. Atwood, July 27th, just to clarify, yes, I did say to Ms. Bowman that the billing looked correct because it does look correct. Everything in it I read straight through. What I failed to do was notice that some of the billing belonged on another invoice. What I did was read through each item one by one. Yes, that got done. Yes, that aligns with my calendar. Yes, that aligns with emails I got. Yes, that aligns with my recollection of that conversation. Yes, that happened on that date. And I went through and read every item and saw that there was absolutely nothing in there that I disagreed with. What I failed to do was notice that the bottom portion of one invoice should have been the top portion of another invoice, which is a moot point now, according to our charter, because they can't bill for a consultation if we didn't have an agreement ahead of time. So we'll be addressing that with them. So your insinuation, I don't know what your insinuations are because you're going on about how you're confused, but I didn't see a question inside of there. It seems like they were loaded comments, rhetoric to insinuate things.
There was a question.
And so is there a specific question that I can help you with that isn't already identified as better suited for Bodman?
Who stopped the bills from coming?
That was the question that I said is better suited for Bodman because I didn't stop the bills from coming.
That's not what Bodman said. We asked Bodman, Mr. Atwood and I asked Bodman, did that direction come from the mayor? And he said yes.
Ms. McCarthy, you were inside of that meeting.
My understanding is in this meeting, when he spoke, someone asked him directly in the open meeting. And he said that they had had periods where they were working and not working on it. So there were dead periods. I can't tell you why they didn't invoice one month or another, but they were, where they thought that they would be finishing it, it dragged on. So they had to wait till that July 20th meeting. It's fine, whatever you asked in there.
Mr. Mayor, the question happened back here when Mr. Atwood and I had 20
Yeah,
minutes.
because I happen to know that you, whatever answer you think you heard, or maybe he did say it that way, that isn't the case from my experience in the meeting that I had where some billing information came up.
That seems a little
Miss McCarthy, I
I
think you can better speak to it.
I just, this is just crazy. Here's the deal. We know what the bills are for Bodmin 1 up to through June. We know what they are. We're not gonna pay for the ones that said Bodmin 2. We've given that general consensus, so he's gonna go there. My understanding is you spoke to the man. Did you not speak to the man within the last 8 hours of today? Mr. Graves, did you not speak to him, Mr. Mayor? And did he give you the final hours?
Yes.
For Bodmin 1?
Mm-hmm.
So we have those hours.
Yeah.
So the question on the table can be, I don't like it, I never agreed to it, I think the mayor stinks, I think he's short, I don't like this answer, today I wore plaid. All those things can be there. The point is, we are now on a motion to cover Bodmin 1 so that we can close it out and move forward. And I would suggest, since it's still my point of talking, and some people have had 2 times, that we call the question.
Second.
We don't have to, because we're at our 30 minutes. And actually, we're past our 30 minutes by a couple. So I'm not gonna take any more discussion on the matter, much of which has not been germane to paying a bill, just paying a bill. Regarding
Let's-
Mr. Brady, Ms. McCarthy, please, regarding your comment, Mr. Brady, I
So we're still in
I will
discussion?
clarify. Because I believe the question is better suited for Mr. Graves.
Can we get that?
But because you are insinuating that perhaps there's an answer that I can provide, I happen to know that I didn't say to hold any building for a specific, the way that you're implying. I happen to know that there was a meeting, that Ms. McCarthy was present in that meeting.
1,052.
That there was a conversation about when the building should arrive prior to a specific meeting or after a specific meeting due to certain things we had on our agenda. Whether or not that would create a longer meeting, whether or not that would, and it was agreed, I didn't make the suggestion, but it was agreed that he would send the billing on a lighter week so that we could, if we had to pull it apart and dissect it, it could be done so. And I believe it's being dissected.
But then it went to like months later.
I had nothing to do with that.
Okay, so can I just
So
fill
it's,
in my part of the
it's
story?
just, hey, let's make sure that the billing is spread out enough so that we don't have to have back-to-back-to-back meetings where we are dissecting billing
Yeah,
and insinuating motives and character and pet projects because we're just trying to get through a meeting and discuss business in a way that doesn't involve this hyper focus and vigilance on something that is something that we should be doing.
okay.
Something that we approved as a body. This body approved, it moved forward, and you're not coming to terms with it.
Well, can I offer my side of the story?
No.
No,
You've spoken
we're,
twice.
we're at,
So
You
we
have
were
spoke
getting
twice.
regular billing, January, February, March. At that point, I
Point of
tried to
order.
get the bill pulled off of the.
Point of order.
pulled
Stop
off of-
speaking. I'm gonna hear the first point of order.
And then it was a
Miss-
large
Miss
gap.
Petrie, stop speaking. You're out of order.
43.
43. 43 what? Robert's rules, 43? What does it relate to?
Speaking without being recognized.
Speaking without being
Or
recognized.
interrupting speakers.
Point of order is well received.
Point of order. Was the chair recognized? Whom did I interrupt?
You interrupted the chair, yes,
And the chair was performing what duty?
presiding.
Yeah, it sounded like.
And
you were-
answering a question directed at the chair, okay? If I give myself the opportunity to answer a question directed at me, that's my prerogative. I'm the chair, not you.
But your eye contact tells me that you're engaged with me, and so I assumed.
And I was answering a
So what I
direct question
assumed was
to
that
you.
we were in dialogue. I
We're
beg
not
your-
doing this
I
anymore.
beg your
You're done.
pardon. I
Point
beg your
of
pardon.
order.
Sustained 43 again, 2 times,
I
Mr.
have-
Brady in a row, out of order, not recognized by the chair. Robert's rules,
I have-
43.
I have-
What's yours?
Mine is Robert's rules 23 and 61, rule B4, engaging in argument with the chair.
2364?
Yes,
Okay.
23 and arguing with the chair.
I find that point of order well received as well. Please document Mr. Brady is out of order per Robert's Rules 2364. Engage with argumentation with the chair. Ms. McCarthy.
Might we be able, after 30-some minutes, we could make it an hour, can we please move to the motion so that we can
Yes,
move on to the rest of the
right now.
agenda?
Thank you.
Mayor.
Point of order.
All right,
That was
we'll
Ms.
take,
McCarthy's third
we'll,
time speaking.
we'll take a
Is my point
roll
of order
call
well
on the
received?
increase.
Is my point of order well received?
Miss, no, it's not. Ms. Sanchez, we are going to move to a roll call, but before we do, can I please have, for the commission's recollection, you to repeat the motion on the table and the mover and the supporter.
Moved by McCarthy, seconded by Petrie to increase the Bodman PLC engagement number 1 budget in the amount of $3,400.
We'll take roll call.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes,
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood,
No.
Commissioner Brady,
No.
Commissioner Glistman.
Yes. I see.
Motion carries. All right, that brings us to G1. Transfer of marijuana license DNBK Lapeer to Arctic Falls. Commissioner Glistman.
I move to approve the transfer of 2 marijuana provisioning center licenses from DNVK Lapeer Inc. to Arctic Falls LLC as presented.
Is there support? All right, there's no support, okay. Moved by Commissioner Glistman, support by Commissioner Atwood. Discussion. Commissioner Petrie.
Ms. Sanchez, can you just explain for the audience or those that may be curious about it, how and why we're doing this and how it is legitimate and within our ordinance rules and kind of just surmise our conversation today?
The current owner is selling a portion of their shares to someone else, so it's a partial change in ownership. They have completed all of the paperwork that needs to be completed. It's the one located at, I think it's 24, it's across from the police department.
And just to clarify, it's kind of like when you are transferring a vehicle to somebody else in the family,
Correct.
you're just changing the title owner or the.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Ms. McCarthy?
May I ask Ms. Sanchez one other thing?
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Ramona. And so based under our charter, our rules, et cetera, that is, we're just doing the paperwork. That's, it's totally.
This is no different than if you were selling Jiffy Lube or McDonald's or Kohl's.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood, it's not like we're trying to go outside the lines. All right.
Correct.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. We'll take a roll call.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Did
Go
our
ahead.
attorney want to offer any input?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
No, I have not spoken with Ms. Sanchez about this individual request, but about a year ago, perhaps, we prepared a memorandum of how to deal with this precise request that's actually attached to G1. So it's my understanding that everything was approved. I would assume that the individuals and the applicants that submitted the applications passed all background checks and all things like that, that would otherwise make them eligible. I haven't seen it, but that's my assumption based on it being before you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Petrie.
So I just want to add one more clarifying statement. We are not adding another license or provisioning center. It's the same one, just changing the names basically on the ownership.
Correct.
And there's no location change or request either.
Any other discussion? Move to roll call.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
No.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Brings us to G2, second reading of ordinance amendment, chapter 7. Yes. Okay.
I move to adopt ordinance 2026-06 on second reading, amending chapter 7, article 7.02.02 A 45 of the general ordinances of the city of Lapeer to rezone 1029 Baldwin Road, parcel L 2139-831-032-20 from R3 single family residential to B2 general business.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Glistman, support by Commissioner Atwood. to the rezoning. Any discussion? Commissioner Glissman, Petrie?
I spoke with Sam, a little bit about this today, and I'm still trying to, grasp it and understand it. We're calling this an ordinance amendment, but we're also rezoning in it. And I'm just confused about why that language is all put together, cause in the past, we do an ordinance amendment and, or a rezone, but this one is combined, and I just was wondering if you could explain again, sorry.
Mayor, Samantha was looking at me, so I'll jump in.
Mhm.
And I don't want to speak for the past because I don't know exactly what happened in the past. But our zoning ordinance maps out the city into zones. Those zones include residential, multifamily, industrial, commercial. So that's part of the ordinance is the map. When we change the zoning and rezone a parcel from one to another, it's changing the ordinance. So that's why it's an ordinance amendment. Every rezoning you've ever done, how it's ever been clarified or classified on your agenda is always an ordinance, always. The sole purpose of the ordinance is to rezone the property.
Ms. McCarthy?
I just want for clarity, I believe the last time we spoke about this, you had mentioned that it is currently R3 and we're going to move it to a B2. I believe, and Mr. Mayor, I hope you would tell me this, because and maybe Mr. Atwood as well, you're on planning, is that when we get done with our new master plan, which should be done maybe end of the year, sometime next year, that this piece of property will already fall into, on the new master plan, a B2. So it's kind of just gonna mirror what's gonna be the future. Am I correct with that, or am I wrong? Or am I thinking of a different one?
That's it, it's in, yes, how you're thinking of it is correct.
Oh,
The master plan that we currently have, the future zoning of that property is in alignment with our master plan. And the way that this is being presented for zoning is in alignment with our master plan
Future
for that
master.
property, yes.
thank you.
If there's no other discussion, we'll move to roll call.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes,
Commissioner Petrie.
Yes.
Motion carries. That brings us to item G3. Fiscal year 2026-27 budget amendment. Mhm.
I move to approve the, for year 2026-2027, the budget amendment as presented.
Support.
All right, moved by Commissioner Glissman, support by Commissioner Atwood to approve the budget amendment as presented. Any discussion? Commissioner Petrie?
I just have a question about the, master plan update. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but I thought we got a grant for 50,000 for that. Are we spending, it says we're spending an additional 33,000, so we'll be spending their $50,000 grant and then.
no, this project was started in fiscal year 25-26.
Yeah.
And, the city is receiving in total a $50,000 grant.
Okay.
However, we've only received a small portion of the grant in fiscal year 25-26. So this is the balance that is needed to finish the master plan in 26-27, which will reflect the grant revenue and the expenditure.
And then we'll reverse the budget when we get the rest of the grant, or?
No, expenditures are charged to the expenditure and the revenue will be reflected in the revenue. So this is amending both of those.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
Motion carries. That brings us to G4, downtown sidewalk improvements. Ms. McCarthy.
I move that we approve the estimates submitted by Top Line Concrete in the amount of $101,640 for the removal, sub-base repair, and reinstallation of the existing brick pavers and and authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the estimate. I just have a question when I made that. There are two different motions here, and we have to make a motion to have dialogue. So if it goes the other way, we would then have to vote down my motion.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner McCarthy, supported by Commissioner Glistman, to approve the estimate by Top Line. Ms. McCarthy, which one were you going with?
I went with the 101,
Okay.
$640. It is the lesser of the two, is the one that I motioned into the meeting.
Very good. All right, any discussion? Ms. Glistman?
Of the two motions, I like this one. First of all, it is less than the other one, and I looked at the pros and cons of the reusing the existing brick as opposed to doing concrete and stamping it. I just really like the fact that we would have real brick pavers down and not stamped concrete. Stamped concrete doesn't look as nice, and it doesn't enhance our historical feeling that we have on Main Street.
Couple things, and I know a couple different commissioners on here did recommend to reuse the brick pavers. When I read through this, it said that there were, and I hate to be picky, okay? It said there were 3 contractors that were solicited for quotes. However, we only got to see this one. So my question would be, did the other contractors not submit quotes? Did we not have 3 to review in comparison? And this was the only one that came through. And then secondly, I find that, so that's just a question that we'll get clarity in, just give me a second. And then the second one is, I like the historic brick because the historic downtown is kind of my pet thing. And, I do find that stamped concrete can be slippery sometimes. As it gets older, it can get maybe, I don't know what you want to call it, that kind of sticks to it. And then when it rains, it gets a little slippery sometimes. So my question would be, where would be the additional bids for review, if any? And then was this just selected by the department as the best bid? I don't know who I would ask that to.
So yes, we did solicit 3 bids from 3 different contractors. This one did come in low bid. We have worked with this contractor in the past. We have this water treatment plant, so that's why we decided to go with this bid.
Thank you.
Any others? Go ahead.
I just wondered what the reason was that we couldn't see all of them to see who they were, where they're from. I'm just curious, like, where we're getting our contractors from. Is this a local person or?
I don't really know exactly where Top Line is that way.
Okay.
I didn't put them in there. I just put them, Top Line is our suggestion. I do have the quotes with me, but they were all considerably more than what Top Line was going with, so.
Okay. The other question that I have is what timeline are we looking at? Will it be before winter? And do they give you any indication of how long their work is I know they can't warranty all of it because we live in Michigan, so I totally get it, but did they give you any idea of like how long this new repositioning could last us?
Not give any kind of length of time, how long it could last.
Okay. Do you know, or does anyone in your department know? Has it been about 30 years or just under 30 years for the bricks that we have now?
I believe it was done in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s?
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, so close to.
Yeah,
Okay.
25 years.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
The invoice comes from Bentley Street. in Lapeer?
That's the DPW address.
Oh, okay, so it was on the left, okay. I don't know where Tap Nine is then.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Yeah, but
if you look
810
on your top sheet, I call it the top sheet, the memo that goes with that agenda item, the very bottom in the explanation, Ross has in there what the other two companies are with their prices.
And if I could just add one clarifying point as well. Historically, when the city does have numerous, bids or quotes, we have only included the one that's being recommended. So that's been the consensus, because as the department heads did discuss, when they're moving forward with a recommended bid, that they're not, including all the bids, just the one that's being recommended.
Tap Nine's Facebook page does have them located in Lapeer.
Ms. McCarthy.
This will be my second time speaking on this topic, so, I just want to, for the public, so you know, because you don't get to, maybe you don't read all this. So, but I have a loud voice, I got a loud voice, trust me. So for the public out there, what we're agreeing to is for the brick pavers, what we're discussing is brick pavers in the amount of $101,640. And our department head here Ross did a great job. The other two are $142,900 and $141,300. So there is a $40,000 difference going with this vendor. And I think that's important because he's watching his costs and he's doing the right things. My last point that I'd like to make is, I don't remember seeing these all the time in the bottom down here, where there's like this little, the other bids are mentioned. Love it, thank you. And now I'm gonna look there and I won't ask.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ross, did you say they will get this done before?
Yes, we are planning on trying to get this done just before fall.
Thank you.
Mr. Atwood.
Couple questions. Is there like a guarantee on, how long it'll last before it settles again?
No, we don't have any kind of guarantee. We just know from the past, we've had these bricks downtown for 25 plus years, and this is what we've ended up with so far. Some low spots, some not so low. I don't really have an answer for that.
Would the stamped concrete kind of adhere to both the curb and the sidewalk a little bit better than the brick?
Not necessarily. There are ways to make them kind of as one, but we call it kind of pinning the concrete. But in this case, we would not do that because we don't want to pin it to the curb. Because if the curb ever has, then everything comes out, which makes it a disaster.
And have we considered the Parks and Rec sidewalk plow that goes up and down the sidewalk? From how raising the bricks up might kind of cause an issue if they use the blade up rather than the broom?
It shouldn't be higher than the curb is now. The purpose of this is just to raise it to the top of the curb to make everything flush to remove all tripping hazards, and the plow should just glide through the curb onto the brick.
So I was in a city up in the UP and they actually replaced their brick with the stamped concrete, and I thought it gave it a little, I liked it. I thought it looked great. We've given that sidewalk 28 years of brick. I don't see why we couldn't do something else and try the stamped concrete route. And then you can always repurpose the bricks and do something else with those. But reading the room, I can count votes, so my opinion really has no weight or merit at this point. For the record, I would prefer to go with the stamped concrete.
I just want to speak to Mr. Atwood about, I have stamped concrete sidewalk. And it is chunks, it's like a sidewalk with a stencil on it, so if something happens to one of those little pieces, you have to remove the whole slab of that sidewalk. You can't just fix one brick if it were to crack or whatever, you have to take the whole thing out. Plus, it's a dye, you dye it a certain color with a powder. It has to be re-dyed, every 6, depending on where it's located in the sun or whatever. So you'll never get the same color again. If there's any red tone to it, it kind of turns pink. So while I think my sidewalk looks beautiful, it's changing color and it's so slippery. If it rains, it's very slippery, and I feel like that could be a hazard for pedestrians walking downtown. So it's costly to replace. Just my own.
Any other discussion? All right, take a roll call.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood,
No.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Motion carries. That brings us to the city manager's report.
I do have a couple things. First, I'd like to thank Kelly and Ramona Sanchez and all the department heads on kind of just educating me this last week. It's kind of like drinking out of a fire hose right now. So they've been fantastic, huge help. Love working with those guys. Also, kind of in preparation for Lapeer Days, I would just like to acknowledge all the city employees. I mean, there's so much that goes into that. And everybody works so well together. It's amazing, and we're looking forward to Lapeer Days. And we're hoping everybody gets down there and enjoys it. So it's been great working with those guys. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. City attorney's report.
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. All right. Unfinished business. We do have some commission appointments, or at least one. Ms. McCarthy?
I move that we appoint Michael, I'm gonna say it incorrectly, vote. I move that we reappoint Michael Vogt to the Lapeer County Central Dispatch Authority, term to expire September 1st, 2029.
Support.
All right, moved by Commissioner McCarthy, support by Commissioner Glistman. Discussion? Seeing none, take a roll call.
Commissioner McCarthy,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, that brings us to the second public comments of the evening. We will, I'll recognize people as they raise their hands to the podium. Please state your name and your address for the record. There's a 3-minute time limit. When you hear the timer, your turn is over. We'll ask you to please kindly return to your seat. Right here. Yes, yes, I can see it.
Good evening. Geraldine Carson, Lapeer Township. I'm asking this board not to give any further severance of any kind to Mr. Woolman, other than the 5 weeks he has already been given, because of the fact of the release, and my clause is dereliction of duty. Toxic, bully, hostile, abuse of power, intimidating, retaliating, twisting truth, and these words are used by employees, good employees, that left because of Mr. Womack. From wastewater management, Eric, who worked 19 years, and Matt, who worked several years, were fired this spring, asking and wanting to go to the mayor and the commission regarding Mr. Womack. Eric was fired because over an 11.5 year ago issue. Mr. Womack was not here then. Did he care about what their livelihoods and their families? No. Denise from housing and Kim from planning retired early, losing part of their retirement. They were hoping for full retirements. They were here a long time and they left early because of Mr. Womack. These are just 4 of several people that have good employees that have left due to Mr. Womack. And it also cost the city time and money to replace them. Mr. Womack moved here, took this job and moved here 3 years ago. He asked for a moving expense because he lived a ways away. He got $3,000. Didn't even move to Lapeer County. He moved to Grand Blanc, where at that point, or around that time, he applied for a job there and was passed over for that job. There was a grant that was offered to the city, $300,000. But Mr. Womack couldn't show up at the meeting to acquire that grant. He then was willing and pushed to give Alan Edwin $16 million over 30 years of city taxes. And if it was not caught by Mayor Hing, that's what would have happened. 16 million we would have lost. And also, he had several projects that went over bid, costing the city more dollars. Why? He increased his own contract severance 3 times. And the last time was a year ago, just before election. He never made this city a priority or cared about it, only cared for his own personal gain. He also treated the city residents poorly. He deserves nothing more than what he has already received. Thank you.
Thank you. Right here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gigi Griffith. For the record, I am speaking on behalf of a disabled individual who was not allowed to speak earlier during public comment time. So I am going to yield the floor to him.
Excuse me,
Yes,
where is he at?
he is on my phone because he cannot be here because you said he would be allowed to speak via an ADA accommodation and then you did not allow him to speak.
And I said this to you?
No, but you said that to him. You said during the first public comment time he would be allowed to speak.
I
Then
said that to
nobody-
him directly.
Did you say that to him direct? I'm putting him on speakerphone.
No, please don't put him on speakerphone.
I'm sorry, I'm doing that. As a disabled individual, hold on, you're not on speakerphone yet.
No, please don't put him on speakerphone. I have to confer with our city
Okay,
attorney.
please confer with your attorney. He's on speakerphone.
Mr. Francis,
Yes.
I believe that you've had some conversations with the acting city manager and other staff about this particular request. Can you fill us in?
In fairness to Mr. Howe, it was with Ms. Hannah, the former.
Okay. Excuse me.
The
Excuse me.
former
You are
acting
not
city,
speaking now, ma'am.
the former acting city manager. And I'm assuming we're talking about the same individual on this call, although that has not been cleared. My understanding is, without having reviewed everything, is that this individual, he is the parent of a disabled child, a non-Lapeer resident non-Michigan resident, who claims they cannot get to the meetings because of the disability to the child. I haven't fully researched this, but in my opinion, that does not entitle, again, I would be open to reviewing more information from the individual, but that alone does not allow the individual to appear before this body for public comment remotely, which is not something we make available to routine other residences or anybody else with a disability that's made that request.
Yes.
I think
So you're saying ADA accommodations.
Let him finish speaking,
if
please.
they're, again, ADA accommodations and an interactive process if you're entitled to one. I have not been engaged in that process with this individual. If there is an accommodation, it's gotta be reasonable, has to be something the city can offer. And in my opinion, there may be other forms of accommodation that might be more reasonable, such as written ability to submit written comments and that sort of thing.
Yes.
But I have not engaged, I've made no promises to this individual on behalf of the city.
And neither have I, for the record, to this individual or
Okay,
to
so-
Ms. Griffith. Hold on, we're not done speaking. Mr. Francis, based on what you just said, is it your opinion that this accommodation can be fulfilled through written request? I believe that is the precedent that we set with other individuals that can't make it to these meetings, so that's reasonable accommodation. We have a precedent of email. You can shut that off. That's disorder. It needs to.
I'm sorry,
it
as a
needs to be
disabled
muted.
individual, I refuse to silence
It
another
needs to be
disabled
muted
individual.
until we're done deliberating.
Okay, I'm going to just.
You and the individual do not have the floor.
All right.
Please
I
mute
am
it.
going to mute you while we have discussion, but other than that, I will continue.
Would be happy to engage in the interactive process with the individual.
Okay, can you engage in
Yes.
meetings going forward at this time? My understanding is that based on what you just said, that reasonable accommodation can be facilitated through written requests at this time.
Based on what the information I have, that's what I would say.
Okay.
And for purposes, I would indicate for the record that the city does not standardly make two-way communication available to individuals, meaning that although we live stream the video on YouTube, which we're not obligated to do.
Okay.
We do live stream the video on YouTube. I do understand there's a delay of somewhat based on that live stream. But that live stream is not set up to be a two-way stream.
Understood.
Meaning even the one time that was allowed last week was via a separate laptop, via separate technology that is actually frankly not even here right now.
Okay, and we have a precedent of providing accommodation for those through written form.
I am
In fact,
unaware.
we have two that came today.
Well, I don't know if those were accommodations, Mayor,
Okay.
or not. I
All
do
right.
know that we accept written
All right.
information.
Did you also do the city, I guess if you wouldn't mind looking into our state statute regarding ADA accommodation, reasonable accommodation, the definition,
Absolutely.
and whether or not the accommodations we afford to non-ADA requests are sufficient and reasonable under that definition.
Is that the will of the commission?
Can I just give my opinion personally?
Mayor,
Mr. Francis, before you continue, I'm just going to respond to an out-of-order remark from Commissioner Brady. Do you need a motion to follow through on that? Or,
Mayor, I'd already spoke with Ms. Hannah about, on the way here.
Okay.
I spoke with Ms. Hannah about it. So I'm leaving open, I'm not trying to be vague, but I don't know all the information, so I do want to gather that information.
okay. All right, thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Francis. And before we settle this, can you at least guide the city on how to proceed with this particular individual right now?
Mayor, I believe, in my opinion, I would leave that up to the chair. I would not determine what we are doing to be an accommodation on the basis of a disability, because I'm not interested. I don't know that we have the ability to do that. Our rules generally would not allow what is going on now
Okay.
unless the chair wanted to grant an exception or not.
And that wouldn't be the reasonable approach that we would pursue if we made the accommodation up ahead of time. correct? We would have used a different.
Well, again, I'd have all the information, but yeah.
All right. Shut it off.
Okay.
Shut it off.
I'm sorry.
Shut it off.
I'm trying.
Showing me the respect when I was cut off, digitally
No.
assaulted by one of the commission members.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sir, ma'am,
This,
don't
I
touch my
thought you couldn't
stuff.
find it. I was just helping
Thank you, but that doesn't mean you can
All
touch
right.
my stuff.
Well, you said you
All
couldn't
right,
find it.
we're
I
gonna,
couldn't, but
we're
that
gonna
doesn't
have
mean you can touch
order.
my stuff.
Okay, both of you, please don't address each other. We're gonna have order now. We're gonna have order now.
Okay,
Miss- Hold on, we're still speaking. Mr. Francis, I've lost my place, so give me a moment to recompose and have order in this room. Mr. Francis, it's my understanding from Ms. Griffith here, Ms. Griffith,
Yes.
if this is my understanding is correct, that the individual on the line is not the one carrying the disability, but rather is a parent of a child.
I'm not aware. I was just told that they had a disabled individual who needed help, and as a disabled person myself, I felt a duty and an act of care to step forward and help them.
That was very kind of you. Thank you. So
Because for so long
Yeah.
in history, especially in government, people like myself and other disabled individuals have been ignored in positions of power. Like, if you have done any research on disability history, you know we have literally had to chain ourselves in buildings where we couldn't walk because we were forced to not have our medication. They would shut down buildings. I urge you to look into disability history.
Thank
I
you.
truly do.
Gigi, thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm starting to have
Yeah.
an anxiety attack.
You're fine. It's okay.
I really wish you hadn't stepped at me like that. I was very scared.
Gigi, you're fine.
I'm aware of that, but when
Okay.
you have a panic disorder,
Uh-huh.
it's not very helpful. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm very cold.
Nothing to be sorry about.
Just take a breath.
Take a breath. That's all you need is just a breath.
Yes, please.
Take some time to breathe.
Breathe.
We'll take a recess in the corner.
Okay. Mr. Francis, before that, I wanted to ask you if you understand any type of reasonable accommodation that needs to be provided to a family member of somebody who is disabled as opposed to the disabled themselves.
Mayor, there may be situations, I'd like to research it further. I would indicate just for the public's, there was a period of time, right after COVID where meetings were allowed to be held two-way via two-way communications. Essentially, all of those rules that would even allow commission members to participate have been rescinded under the Open Meetings Act. There's like a very limited exception, I believe, for military service that would apply. So this isn't a situation where even I would advise that the commission would have the same ability. And I know it's not an apples to apples comparison, but I do think that that's noteworthy because I think a lot of people believe that this body could hold commissions, could hold meetings remotely, and that's just not true.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Francis.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
The individual who was at the last meeting that gave his response on the laptop is not a resident of Michigan, to my knowledge. So I'm curious as to what our rules are for letting people from other states. I mean, it could actually get out of hand if you let everybody in the country want to speak during our public comments. So I don't know what the rule is, but if it's not a Michigan citizen, I would question why this person would want to have his opinion be availed to us.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Brady.
We have had visiting civic participants from other states before in person. I'm not going to check their ID when they walk in the door.
Just for clarity here, because I know there's this desire to, and concern that we are somehow trying to limit free speech. I want to clarify that what's happening here, Mr. Francis, is not a denial of free speech. but a effort to get clarity on what's required and what are the boundaries and et cetera, rather than a denial of free speech. Am I right, Mr. Francis? I mean, we're trying to
My,
get clarity.
yes, my understanding of my task is the number one, figure out figure out the facts. Figure out, whether the individual, assuming it's someone who is caring for someone with a disability, figure out whether he's entitled to an accommodation, and then if so, what accommodation is reasonable. It's not something I do every day, and I don't want to mislead the commission, but I've done it before. And generally, you have to there's, like I said, an interactive process. It's not, if the person's entitled to accommodation, it's not any accommodation that the person requests. It may not even be their preferred accommodation. It's a reasonable accommodation, with all things considered. So that, it's not denial of speech. It has nothing, frankly, in my mind, to do with the state of residence of the individual.
Very good. All right, thank you, Mr. Francis. Ms. McCarthy.
Second point of clarity, and this is not a denial by the mayor to deny someone their rights. We're just trying to get clarity.
Correct.
Thank you. All right. All the way in the back.
Thank you. I'm Sheila now from here. I just want to say it's unfortunate that Gigi was put in this position. This man spoke to you guys at the last meeting. You allowed it. You brought the laptop for him. So you set a precedent for him to speak. And it concerns me that, what are you afraid of now? If you let him speak a week ago, but now you're not allowing somebody else who's trying to assist with ADA, who is also somebody who is supported through ADA. What are you trying to hide? And then it brings me back to all the conversation that I've heard amongst you. Call the mayor. Why don't you just call the mayor? Talk to the mayor. He'll tell you everything you need to know. I've heard it from all three of you ladies. But that tells me that whatever he says to one on the telephone may not be what he says to the next one. When you're talking about transparency, you need to have everything out there, which requires emails. If you have a paper trail, if you want to respond to the mayor, you can send him an email and he can answer your email, so you have a paper trail. Ladies, you need to do this. You can't just pick up a phone and expect this to be appropriate and let us believe everything is transparent. You're failing in that. So I urge you to set your policies to a better placement of your activities. Paper trails. Being consistent with your rules. Supporting your community members, because we're worried about you. I wasn't here for the first part, so I don't know what happened, but I know we had a $10,000 limit on lawyer charges, but I've seen the charges and now they're at 40,000. What in the world is going on? You're gonna bankrupt our city, a city that I love, and I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna watch it and protect it, and I want all of you to do a paper trail so that we know what is happening and we can call you forward and have evidence to show it. So no more, call the mayor, call the mayor, call the mayor. I don't want to hear that again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Right over here.
I wrote this a week ago, sorry. Cheryl Barnett, Arcadia Township. I wrote this a week ago, but I could have just as easily written it tonight. Mr. Atwood and Brady, it seems that you take harassment claims lightly. As a woman with decades in the workforce, I don't. You, against legal advice, blocked this complaint from closed session, where it could have been reviewed completely. You forced sensitive material to go public. Where is your consideration for the confidentiality concerns of staff, past, present, future? Mr. Atwood appeared to be reading from a scripted production on his screen while 4 attorneys sat here waiting. 4 attorneys. Do the math. You surely comprehend billable hours, and yet with Mr. Brady's cooperation,
turned what could have been a 2 to 3 hour deliberation into 3 or 4 separate meetings, causing additional travel time and other legal expenses. You called Bodman's office, Mr. Atwood, when you were not authorized to do so, causing further expense. In my opinion, you are creating the problem. Why? You're so overly focused on legal fees regarding an HR situation, but have spent thousands on row engineering studies for projects that never even happened, and you never questioned it. Never questioned that. But we have HR circumstances. What's more important than your employees and their welfare? The reason for your actions didn't make sense to me, but became more clear after the August 10th meeting, when the three of you, after the meeting, Mr. Atwood, Mr. Brady, and Mr. Womack were seen walking east on Nipissing Street, practically hand in hand. It's one thing to think of Mr. Womack as your friend. It's another to put that friendship above the obligation that you have to the approximately 75 other city employees and the city itself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? All the way in the back.
Karen Rocheco, I live in the county here. Glissman, the ADA is a federal law. And if you guys have not taken an ADA class, they're free online. I highly suggest everyone do it. There were a lot of insinuations about insinuations tonight. Kind of interesting. But I think it's fair that we start asking, who is Jeremy Hing? Because people are asking me that a lot. Because in reviewing his statements at the Tea Party, his statements at DeAngeli at that forum, his statements online, some things are not adding up, especially for someone who parses and splits hairs on things. I just found some of them interesting. First, I want to bring up Ignizer, his nonprofit, his sex trafficking nonprofit. So I'm going to read a quick statement from someone who knows about these things, has investigated them. Some background. There is a huge graft situation where people build nonprofits to support survivors of sex trafficking. However, little money, if any, actually goes to those who are supposed to benefit. I'm not making an accusation. I'm just saying you would think that if you have one of those nonprofits, you would want all the paperwork in line, but there is a year missing. And conveniently, Mr. Hing gets to file a 990N postcard, so we don't actually get to see the information online. Perhaps we could FOIA it. I don't know. I just think not to do it. Now, Mr. Hing spoke Spanish in 2 meetings. And from what he said, he lived in Latin America 10 years-ish, right? I couldn't understand what he said, and I had Spanish for like a lot of years. So I asked a friend who's a native speaker. I gave her the clips, and I said, hey, can you translate? She said, it's really hard to do because his pronunciation's way off. He does not speak Spanish well, and the words that he thinks he's using, he's not using. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to get another opinion. So I got a friend who lived in Latin America doing work, but Spanish is their second language. And she said, gosh, his pronunciation's terrible. It's terrible. And so you said that you negotiated budgets and worked with foreign governments, and you said it is no small feat when you're doing that in a second language. I'm just really surprised that you're maybe I can't judge your ability to hear it, but your ability to speak it is really poor. Now, missionary work. I will say what his son read in a video online, I found really concerning. And I'm not blaming his son. His son was a child, but I would never have a child read this, and a child probably cannot write this. We live in the capital of Ecuador called Quito. About 80% of Ecuadorians would classify themselves as Catholic. But the sad reality is they have incorporated many of their ancestral pagan worship from then into the Catholic tradition. Even sadder is that the Catholic Church of South America tolerates it and participates rather than correcting it. That's not the kind of missionary I would ever support. Now, you said you were a native of Lapeer, but then you said you moved here in 1990. In another place, you said maybe 90 or 91. I can tell you exactly when I moved here because I'm not a native. I was not born here. Native means born. But what's really interesting to me is why someone with the history of Mr. Hing, people are starting to come out of the woodwork about high school. Why would you do that to your family and yourself?
Any others?
Oh, why not? Ken Kopnick, Oregon Township. Again, I sat here tonight and I watched motions get twisted
People didn't know what they were or weren't voting on, what the motion was or wasn't. You know, it goes on and on and on. I watched two people be ruled out of order probably 15 to 20 times. Know this, you guys are gonna get cut off at the knees every chance. And he's making notes for clarity of record, and it's just gonna continue on. He's hoping that you will get fed up and go away, like he's hoping the public will go away. But the problem is, he knows one dog to another. He knew when I walked in here the first time, I saw him for what he is and what he does. And he knows I'm an old dog, and I know it. I know what he is, and it will continue until he is removed from office. He will apologize at the end of a meeting. He used harsh words. He shouldn't have done this. He should have done that. And then in his psychological twist will tell you, but it's all your fault that I said it and did it. You guys had better remember, when you have your lips pressed to his keister, when he stops, you become a suppository.
Thank you. Anybody else? In the back.
Andrew Johnson, 407 Gulfside. Last time I was here, I asked for Mayor Hing's resignation. I'm still going to stand on that platform. I came here to talk about some of this dysfunction tonight. I appreciate Mr. Brady, Mr. Atwood. One thing I'm asking you guys tonight that you could do is get together, give us a statement from the city, maybe meet with Mr. Francis and let us know what is going on. Why is Mr. Howe here? What qualifies him to be a temporary interim manager? He's our police chief, and to my knowledge, he's doing a fine job there, but what qualifies him to run the city? And this is no dig on you, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. It would be helpful that you would inform the public of the things that are going on. And I understand there's sensitive matters with Mr. Womack and the names that were spelled out by you ladies. There's been a lot of talk about let's go into closed session. Well, you women were more than happy to spell out sexual harassment and Mr. Womack's name to get that out there on YouTube. You could go back to the meeting and see that they spilled the beans. That happened. I'm sure Mr. Womack's lawyer will use that against us as a city taxpayer, money that's going to come out of my pocket.
Yeah.
You might as well approve $1 million because we're going to pay out a truckload of money. Now I want to pivot. I didn't come for this tonight, but this thing that happened over here when we asked who this contractor was, as a local contractor, one of the most annoying things to me is when work gets done in the city and businesses that operate here aren't asked to bid on it. I know lots of contractors that don't want to work in this city because downstairs is a terrible entity. Mr. Womack admitted to me that nobody wants to work here because they're terrible to work with. As a contractor, I choose most of the time to not do work in the city because this city is terrible to work with. Your fees are exorbitant. And anybody, you guys can find me. After the last meeting, I got a call from somebody from Chicago that watched on this. I'm here. I've had conversations with Mr. Atwood, Mr. Hagedorn. If you want to talk to me, I had a long talk with Samantha a couple weeks ago about the dysfunction in the city building department, the problems there. I'd be more than happy to figure out who I am. Some of you are on boards with Dan Sharkey. Dan knows how to get a hold of me. I've done a lot of research on all of you. Some of the things that you ran on were just blatant lies, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others? All right, seeing none, we move on to closing comments. That time has passed. She had her hand? All right.
We were watching. She had her hand.
No.
I just wanted to quickly touch on the idea of social media. That's been brought up a lot, and I do think it's a very, oh, sorry, Heidi Halpern here. No, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I forget to do that. But the idea of social media is obviously very problematic. And people are saying, well, be careful what you hear on social media. I am not on social media very much. It is a very limited amount. So when people are telling me I'm being, misled by social media, no, I'm not. I am coming to these meetings and I'm seeing what's happening here. And I'm basing my decisions on what I see happening here and what I hear happening here, not on social media. So please don't tell me like I'm misunderstanding anything based on that. With regards to the closed session, I really have to thank Mr. Atwood and Mr. Brady for not allowing them to go into closed session, because it has been made clear that the motives are questionable of the board majority. And also who knows what they would have talked about, because this has not been a very transparent board. Also, with regards, in response to what some of the comments that were made, Mr. Hing is the one who named the complainant in the email that he read. So I'm not sure how, that's, he's the one being, not giving away anything. And then the accusations against Womack have been are unsubstantiated. They've been made, but anybody can make accusations. They have not been substantiated, and his written response was pretty much ignored as far as I can tell. And for those who claim or complain about Mr. Womack and have proclaimed how much Mr. Hing has done for the city, I'd ask them to please present concrete, tangible actions that Mr. Hing's taken to improve the city, like actual things that he has done.
Yes.
That would be appreciated, because I think that has yet to be made clear. And did you tell Gigi that you need, or did you say that?
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't, okay, I'll ask her later. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any others? Right here.
Might as well go one more time.
Oh, we can go twice?
Of course you can. And I apologize to you for that. I thought you were having a hard time figuring your phone out. I just want to again say thank you to all of you guys. This is the first city meeting I've ever been to. I've owned a business for 25 years. This is appalling. I want to sell my salon and I want to move out of the city. I cannot believe what is happening back here. You guys, I apologize. This is the city. This is not who stands up for me. This is not who speaks for me. I'm going to tell you that right now. I had a complaint, my first complaint to the city since Mayor Haynes been in here, from my business. It was taken care of that day. That day. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. There was a massive spill in the back parking lot behind Exit Realty out of the dumpster, a thick oil spill going into the drains of our city, into our water, I'm sure. I called, I talked to Marcy Lebo over at Parks and Rec. It was cleaned up that day. I called Mr. Womack no less than 15 times this winter. Lynn can attest to that, because, I ended up calling her and she got taken care of. I had people falling outside of my salon. My handicapped people could not get their wheelchairs, anything taken over the curb. Since you've been in office, it's taken care of, it's getting fixed. So listen, I'm not out here to hurt anybody, but I am telling you, as a resident in this city, I pay my taxes. I've owned a business for 20 years. I see so many women, and I see women that Mr. Womack did make uncomfortable. I'm never going to use their names because I'm a hairdresser. Trust me when I tell you, I know everything about my clients, their husbands, their family. I know it all. These women were uncomfortable.
You're saying?
I'm telling you that. I've gone to court for my women, my clients, where they've been abused. They were scared to say anything, you guys. You don't think that women, we go through that. We put up with what we put up because they don't want to lose their job. They have a family to feed. If he was inappropriate, it needs to be brought out. And I've had 2 people that work for the city. They're not anymore. I'm appalled. I'm appalled by this back here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really don't have a lot to say. Did she mention her name when she spoke?
Laura Ostrom.
Thank you.
No problem.
She did not.
I didn't.
She just.
No, I don't get
That was, when she said that was her second time, she spoke in the first public comments, and that was her first time in the second public
Okay,
comments.
sorry, I was unclear. I thought we could only speak once.
No, you're fine,
Thank you.
but,
I
okay.
apologize again.
All right,
for-
any others? All the way in the back.
My name is Denise Soldensky. I live in Oregon Township and I was the former Director of Housing and Neighborhood Development. And I'm just making this statement because not only last meeting, my name was brought up by the city commissioner, just tonight, I just drove here because I heard somebody else speaking about me. And I just want to be clear. I felt that bringing up my name was inappropriate by the city commissioner, first of all. I did not ask that. I've been planning my early retirement for many, many years. I bought 5 years of service for the planning of that. The date of my retirement had absolutely nothing to do with Mr. Womack's, with him being here. I bought that 5 years before he was hired. So I left the city on very good terms. I'm grateful for my job, a past job. I'm very proud of myself and the housing team. I think we've done good work over the years. I'm not in any way involved in the current investigation to Mr. Womack. My office was not even located at City Hall. No attorneys ever questioned me. I will say Mike Womack and I may not have always seen eye to eye, but I respected him as my boss. So there's that. I personally do not feel like this is any of my business. Didn't want to be here, but I hope the process is completed in a respectful and fair manner to all involved. I would like to request that please, city commissioners, don't bring up past or current employees' names unless they specifically ask you to. I feel like this was used out of context, clearly, because somebody else insinuated the same thing that I thought exactly what was coming out of that. I have nothing to do with it, and I had a wonderful work experience, and I'm enjoying my retirement. Didn't want to be here, but thank you. And thank you to all of you.
Thank you. Others? Right here.
Thank you. I'd like to apologize for not, I don't agree with a lot that happened tonight, don't get me wrong, but I know better than to sit there and lose control of myself and bark little things out like a fourth grader. And I apologize for that. And my mother told me that if I ever apologize, don't end that apology with a but, because your apology means nothing if you say, I'm sorry, but. Now you're thinking about yourself. So I won't do that, but I have a lot of things to say and I will be back. But I do appreciate all of you. I know how hard it is. Ross, he's gone. Okay. Last 2 weeks ago or 2 meetings ago, I was here. I'm a retired director of public works. I was here for a total of 23 years with my commission time. And I gotta plead with you. I understand, but something's really mixed up with the change orders and the budget amendments and stuff. That stuff should be done when you know there's going to be when you go to pay the people. I'm sorry, but when you go to pay the people, you get the bill from them. You put in your budget request or your pay request, and what goes with it is the request for a budget amendment so you can cover your budget. I don't even know what the attorney's budget is for this year, but I have to think that if we're just going to take a $40,000 chunk out of it, at least, that you know, you're gonna have to do a budget adjustment to just get that. And I don't even know anymore if their payment, Bodman or whatever they are, gets paid out of the same account number anymore. I don't know. But I don't know, it just seems like things are out of whack and they're not rolling. I was here when Denise was here and I too love my employment. I hate my retirement, unlike her. And so anyway, just thank you. And I again apologize for my little snide remarks.
Before you go,
Before I go,
if you could state your name and residence for the.
I'm sorry. John Lyons, and I live in Mayfield Township.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? All right, seeing none, we go to Commissioner or closing.
Yes.
Oh, in the back, please.
Wes Weber, city resident. I just wanted to complete a thought from what I had earlier, and I think it's just been sufficiently shown tonight that there's a lack of trust that we have for one another. And that is on each and every one of us to take the time to get to know one another. What I'm seeing in the board is right now there's a real opportunity, and I've vocalized this to some of you. I think I've talked to all of you. And it's a real opportunity to change this whole thing. I voiced this with one of you particularly that, you know, we have people that are being, there's just a politically charged environment. And what I said was that we can put an end to it quickly if our commissioner would just reach out and say, you know, I don't want to recall the mayor. I know that we don't trust each other, but I want to, and I want to work together. And this is what we're looking for in this environment. I will say quickly and briefly, I do want our city resident who spoke tonight to be heard. If I heard her correctly, she was made to believe that an application was submitted for a grant that was never actually submitted. And I think that I trust you. I do trust you to get to the bottom of that fairly. I do. I know you will. And I believe that you all want what's best for the city. And I will say, I don't have time to mention it now, but with the bylaws and the ZBA, there's a lot going on with these vacancies on our board. So I'm hoping that we can get them filled soon. And that would be it. I think I'm probably pressing, I don't know how much time, how much is there? A couple.
Minute 15.
I still have a minute 15. I'm gonna use all of that. So, but I do, yeah, it's been a long night. We will hurry up. But when I ask not to lean into these things, I'm just saying that there is a great incentive for certain people in the media and alternate media to keep stoking these things so that we will fight with one another. I do expect our commission to make reasonable accommodation for people to speak. I think you're doing your level best to do it. And so we want to follow the advice of our attorneys as well. There's been a lot of confusion over that, but we should, as much as possible, when advised to go into closed session, do so. And I know that we agree to disagree there, and that's fine. But there's a reason that there's confusion in the public now because of that. And there's a reason that there's an incurred expense because of that, or a greater expense at least. And so I do agree with those who are fiscally minded that we should keep those expenses at a minimum. We should. And I appreciate that, but let's get back to open dialogue and agreeing to disagree and not stoking the outrage mob online, you know, is what we want from our commission. Okay.
Thank you. Any others? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to closing comments. Mr. Brady.
Predictably going first. The agenda had almost nothing to it. A lot of routine business I was quiet for because it's routine business. I came prepared to discuss the bill listing. That is been a subject of concern of mine for months. I have asked repeatedly to be brought into the process, to be made more aware. From the beginning, I didn't know what we were hiring Bodman for. To this day, I have no idea what the result of the work product is. We are now $13,000 in attorney fees for nothing. And that didn't have anything to do with an investigation or Bodman 2. This is all Bodman 1. I'm going to ask the questions. I was prepared. I was direct, brief. I'm asking questions that I want the answers to. Now, in that process, incredible selective enforcement against me is in play. Okay? So the reactions of the people in this room to the mayor's behavior towards me tell the story. All right? All of you sitting there are fully aware that I'm not being treated fairly. Okay? And I'm a big boy. It's fine. Okay? But to be ruled out of order, just left and right. One example, you're not allowed to just shout, call the question. You're actually out of order when you shout, call the question. So if Commissioner McCarthy shouts, call the question, she doesn't have the floor. She's out of order. And I wouldn't normally make a big deal about it, but now even the county guys got to comment on this stuff. We could get along, but not as long as the mayor continues the pattern of behavior towards me that he is carrying out. Okay? I don't know what mischaracterizing intents. I don't even know how to walk that line. Okay? If you're doing the job and I call you out for doing the job, that's just calling you out for doing the job. I have so much I could say about you personally, and I choose to hold my tongue. I've been as gracious as possible, and I will continue to choose to hold my tongue. And you'll look at me and you'll write things down. Your behavior is, it's not welcoming of cooperation. It's not welcoming of dialogue. And I'm not gonna quit. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of years. The people will decide with an election. And, the regular business of the city's getting done. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. We held that Bodman 1 thing to 13,000. I'm done.
Ms. Glisman.
Miss Hannah's not here. I wanted to thank her for doing the job for the last 3 weeks for city manager, and thank our chief for filling in. I appreciate him very much. I know he's going above and beyond as he always does. And that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Atwell.
All right, nothing tonight.
Thank you. Ms. McCarthy.
I'm torn. I'll turn this on so people can hear me. I'm a little torn because there's things I want to say and I really don't want to say anything. But I'm going to bring up 2 issues. The first is closed meetings. You go into a closed meeting, people say, well, you don't know what they're going to say in a meeting. The closed meeting is for an attorney hired, a Mr. Francis, a Mr. Graves, to bring a legal opinion to the commission. And then it allows us to ask them questions. Well, I read this and it seems like it's A to me. Someone else said it seems like it's B to me. And then the attorney can say, well, you're kind of right and kind of wrong, and this is what legally this means. So it's a way for us to ask questions that if they were out in public could harm people, could be difficult for some of the people that are in the legal opinion, etc. And so it's a way for us to, let me give you an example. Had we been able to go into the closed meeting, we might have been given, I don't know how many, but we might have been given some different scenarios of what we could have done to resolve the dialogue and everything that was happening between Mr. Womack's attorneys and ours. we could have heard things and had a feeling for them, and then come back here, and we can't make any decisions in there. No decisions, no votes, nothing. You only get to dialogue and ask clarity from the attorney. But it gives us a chance to ask those questions because we're not all legally trained. And so that does put us at a disadvantage if we can't go into a closed meeting. It puts the entire city commission. And if one or two city commissioners choose not to go in, they are forcing that decision for all city commissioners. And so that just makes it more difficult for us because there's things that we maybe could get clarity, and it might turn out better than all the hardship that comes when you start trying to air grievances in public. Just saying in closed meetings, no decisions are made. It is for us, it's one of the few places that we as commissioners are allowed to dialogue with each other within the same room, and it's not an OMA violation. And so it just helps us to be able to ask questions and to get clarity. And that would be the time that any questions a city commissioner feels like, I don't know A or I don't know B, that would be a time that they could probably speak in that closed meeting and get that load of information given to them. And then they're not in the dark anymore because they went in that meeting and they had that dialogue. I just want to say that. The second thing I find is that, and I think Mr. Weber said it, we've kind of deteriorated as a society culturally, that we are very comfortable saying whatever we think about anyone. And you know, you learned as a young person, when you say it directly to their face and you see the hurt on their face, you might not be so willing to say those things, as it's a lot easier to say them on Facebook where you're just typing in and you don't really see how bad of a pain you've given the other person. So there's a whole lot of hostilities and vitriol. And what I also find very, a little bit taken back is that how much hatred and vitriol is spoken during public meetings at the commission. You don't have to like us. You don't have to agree with us. I do suggest for each and every person who thinks that they could do this, run. Run. Get voted in. Get yelled at from the public speaker. I have people who assume that being heard means they also have to be seen. You have to look at me while I insult you, while I tell you off, while I tell all your faults. But freedom of speech and the ability to be heard, your right to be heard, is exactly that, heard. It's not, you also get to punch me verbally and look at me and see tears come down my face to make sure that you get that extra push that you got in the last punch.
Were you slapped a lot as a child?
I was probably more, but thank you for that. 'Cause it was
Mr.
true.
Brady.
I don't mind, because Mr.
Please.
Brady was showing his sense of humor, and I like his sense of humor. The last thing that I find is that it's one thing to say that you don't like a person for A, B, or C, but it's another thing for us to pick on someone based on their appearance, based on their height, based on their personality, based on any disability they might have. And I find that instead of sticking to real issues, there's a lot of mudslinging with personal insults that come. And I just kind of hope that we can stick to the issues, stick to the real stuff, stick to those issues that are not how tall someone is, or not how someone breathes, or how someone swallows. That, you know, again, when you're up here and this microphone is on, when you've run and you won, everything is magnified. No matter who you are, it's magnified. And so I sit here and I see the people in here, and I see some faces just shocked at things that happened in this meeting. And I do like what Mr. Weber said. He thinks there's a time here that we could probably build a bridge. We could probably do better. The business is getting done. Our day-to-day business is getting done. The bills are paid. The lights are on. I have to tell you, I've had more conversations in the last 3 to 4 weeks with city employees. I'm not going and saying, you have to do A or B. They might call me up and say, you know, you mentioned this in a meeting and I want to understand what you meant, whatever. Mostly Kelly Hanna trying in her capacity as a city manager to give clarity and to try to move us forward. It's fabulous. And so it's been troubling. I get it. And I know you're frustrated. I hope we can build a bridge. I want to thank Kelly Hanna. I want to thank Ramona, who is always steadfast. And I do want to thank our chief, who you're going to do a great job. Hopefully it's a short period of time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ms. Petrie.
I want to start out by saying publicly, apologize to Denise Soldansky, who was in here. When I mentioned names in the meeting, my comment was taken out of context. I mentioned people that left in a row. Some of those people, and those were my words, I know for a fact some of them left due to Mr. Womack. So I'm apologizing to Denise. Never did I include her in that. I listed her as one of the department heads that left. Many department heads left with the history and knowledge of what we need for our city, which was sad for me. For whatever reason they left was sad for me. So I'm apologizing publicly for that. It won't happen again. I'm going to go back to what I said also last meeting, and that was about truth and trust. And if you don't have truth, you don't have trust. When someone does something that's not truthful, the trust is gone. They have to, you have to have both. You can't have one and not the other. They just have to coexist. And my trust has been breached because of untruths. I don't have to name who from. I'm just going to tell you. Trust is really important. The other thing that I've been thinking a lot about is motives. And there are so many motives to make you do things. My motive for being here and running a campaign twice was because I love this community. I agree with Chief Howe. It is like drinking from a fire hose. But I put my big boy pants on, and you guys are entitled to say whatever you want to me. I have a very thick, old, wrinkly skin, and things in life hurt. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So you're entitled to say whatever you want. I'm going to apologize to the girl that was in here for saying to her, I'll pray for you. She has 2 babies. She let us know that. Motherhood is the hardest job I've ever done, but the most gratifying and enjoyable. And that's what I said. I would pray for her because she was a mom of 2. She then said to me that she was really disappointed in me as a woman, which she's entitled to that. That's okay. She's disappointed in me. I was disappointed in the way the meeting went and behavior, and that's what I said. So some of what was said wasn't the truth. Just clarifying that. So I'm just going to read what I heard this morning about motives. So motive means that it's the reason or the inner drive that makes a person do something. It's the why behind the action, such as a hidden goal, a need, or an emotion that pushes someone to act. And I've been watching motives of people that I did trust and believed in. And I'm questioning their motives because I believed it was one thing. I'm seeing now it was another. Power, fame, money, love, fear. There's so many motives. So I can only speak of what I know about people up here on this dais and personal interactions. And I know for some of us, we aren't doing this for fame, money, fear, power. We are doing it because some of us are in our retirement years. We are in the last heat of our race. We chose to do this because of where we live. I love this community. I want transparency and truth. When people come and tell us something that was done to them that was hurtful or dishonest or unfair, I'm supposed to listen to that. I'll do what is in my power to do. There's two commissioners up here who I ran with. I believed we all had the common goals and interests for our community, and I wasn't elected to protect any city manager or even any city employee. I was elected to protect the livelihood, safety, and life of the people in this community. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm honest to a fault, because let me give you an example of who I am. This is who I am. When I was little, we had 6 kids. We went to the Pix Theater, and my dad said, under 12, blah, 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 gets to me. Now I had just turned, but he said that I was under, and I'm like, Dad. And he's like, gosh, I just wanted to break. I had 6 kids. I wanted to try and get in. So I didn't mean to upset my dad or do anything, but I am honest. And so I feel like I wish some of us up here would be truthful about what our motives are. You may not like who we are. I've lived in this community a long time. I've been through a lot of mayors. Some of them I think were great. Some of them I didn't like. Some of them I didn't like how they spoke. Some of them I didn't like their agendas. But I sat respectfully and I followed the rules, sat in meeting after meeting. I'm looking out into the audience and trying to see who is here. I can point out 2, I think, that have been here in the last 5 years, watching what was happening in our city. Most of you are new to this chamber, and most of you are here since our new mayor got elected. I don't know your motives. I don't need to know them, but I would ask you to ask the question, what is my motive that I'm coming and saying the things that I say? Are they constructive? Are they hurtful? Do they make me feel like a big person when I leave? Are you doing it for the blue cartoon thumbs? Because, side note, it's a cartoon. Cartoon thumbs aren't real. Social media is not real. Face-to-face is real. It may be how some people choose to communicate or get their voice out, but it is not real. Face-to-face is real. Human contact is real. These are real people up here. They have real lives, families, children, and you can hate all you want. But we're in this world to forgive and love, not hate. Thank you, Chief, again, for stepping up. Ramona, thank you for being here till 9:45 at night, and I'm sorry that I'm prattling on. Thank you for Kelly and all of our staff. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Mr. Howe, do you have anything?
Mr. Mayor, I do not.
Thank you. All right. Admittedly, tonight's meeting is a move in the right direction in terms of timing. At least it's not past 10 or 11 yet. Public comments have been reduced significantly in terms of the breadth and timing. And we do wish to hear from our public constituents as soon as there's an actionable issue that is within the jurisdiction of the city. Your voice matters, and we take it very seriously. As some of the public commenters have noted, that's not usually what gets brought before us. We get a lot of hate, as it's put, personal attacks, personal life issues, and maybe physical appearances, maybe attitude, personality, whatever it might be. And it's not actionable. It's not germane to the city. And when that was And that's a policy that we have, and I've relaxed that quite a bit because there seems to be some inconsistency on this board as to how that policy should be handled. Those who instituted that policy before my tenure want it enforced when they don't like what's being said, and then they don't want it enforced when it suits them. So that has been relaxed to some degree. And the public is saying things that is not productive to the business of the city and violating our policy. But, you know, there's a point where, you know, there's a line and they're trying to balance that enforcement. The public tonight is 1 hour and 15 minutes. And then the Bodmin billing was 1 hour and 15 minutes between two motions. One was 30 minutes, one was 45 minutes. That's something that keeps being beat to death like a dead horse. And that's 2.5 hours. That's 2.5 hours. And right now that'd put us at 7:15 if we didn't have to deal with that yet. There is an accusation that the chair is to blame. I don't force the public to get up here and spew hate for 1.5 hours. In some meetings, 2.5 hours. I'm not forcing them to do that. I'm the target of most of it. I don't force people who are confused about billing that's very clear to make the matter confusing. I ask for help from the staff and from the attorney. I ask for guidance. I've done nothing wrong in handling the Bodmin issues. I'm the point of contact on 2 of them. There's a co-point of contact on 1 of them. Very serious HR issues that need to be taken seriously, that need attorney guidance and legal counsel. And the billing is accurate. And where there's been discrepancies, we've worked on it. And it can be worked out, and it's following policy. I've worked with the finance director. I've worked with the acting managers. I've worked with the attorneys. None of it have I just made up a policy or broke policy and just broke free off the ranch and started running for the hills. Every step of the way, I've had guidance and help by our staff and our legal counsel. I've done nothing to warrant these types of meetings where one Bodmin bill can take upwards. Before Ms. McCarthy was willing to start putting our rules into a motion, which there are rules. We don't even need to make the motion to uphold them. And we've tried to uphold them. I have, as the presiding officer, and I get attacked by the commission and the public, by certain members of the commission and the public for trying to uphold them in the meeting. Dilatory points of order. The whole thing is manufactured chaos. And I've stated these things time and time again and pointed them out. One comment tonight was, hey, if I see you doing the job and I call you to account for the job, that's just me calling you to account for the job. No. Not in the context in which these things are happening. It's manufactured chaos. It's insinuating motives and character when the policy and the procedures have been followed and the advice has been given from staff or legal counsel. There's something else behind it, and I don't know what it is, but because the public is hearing 2 sides of a story, and some of it is so chaotic, it's hard to understand that we have a commenter, a past employee saying, hey, the bill should be paid, there's something fishy about it. No, the only thing fishy is the way it's being framed, the narrative that's being put out there. If you FOIA'd the information, if you talk to the staff, if you talk to legal counsel, you'll find out that everything was done according to the direction given. And it was in agreement with every policy. Now, did we find something that was billed that shouldn't be billed according to the charter? Yes, we did. And it's fixable. We go back to Bodmin and we tell them this is not going to work. But even according to our city council, that is normal practice, and normally municipalities don't have that type of provision. I want to address a couple very specific things tonight. And that is first for the record, because there's been a lot of part of that chaos that was created, especially surrounding the inability for this body to go into closed session, has inadvertently put information out there, not necessarily in the right understanding for the public, because you can't have the details. And unfortunately, the press recently published an article on the matter, and it got two things wrong, and I'd like to correct them for the record. It described a former employee who raised concerns as the target of sexual harassment. That's false. She reported no such thing. It then treated the city manager as innocent, as though the matter were settled. It is not settled, and he has not been cleared. The investigation's findings are confidential and have not been released. What I can tell you is this: a commission does not begin pre-termination process the law requires for a manager if it considers it cleared. Out of respect for the people involved and for the process still underway, I'm not going to say any more about it. But assumptions have been made, and wrongly. And then it was reported as fact, and it shouldn't be. And that's exactly the thing that's happening in social media and what's happening in these public comments. Second, the tone of these meetings. There's a good deal of disagreement lately, and it has little to do with city business, as I've pointed out. Some of it is aimed at us personally, specifically me personally, for the most part, but there's us collectively, at my manner or my appearance. And those things I can set aside. And even tonight more. Now they're bringing up good work that ministries that I volunteer for and do administrative work for, or even manage in partnership. They do good work meeting the needs of survivors of human trafficking. It's disgusting that that would be used in a political stage just because someone hates someone affiliated with it. It's disgusting. Now, I can set some of that stuff aside, the personal stuff, but when it starts reaching out in attacking innocent organizations, family members, associations, that's disgusting. And it speaks more to the speaker than about me. What I will not set aside is an attack on this office, on the duty to uphold the charter and to keep order in this room. I'm told that relying on the rules is a fault, and it's not. The rules are the thing that protects every person at this table and everyone sitting in these seats. If there is a fault to find it with those who break the order and the civility that this body is meant to keep, not the one who insists on it. Third, where we go from here. Now, I've said in the last meeting that this city needs reconciliation and healing, and I meant it. In spite of all of this discord, I'm committed to unity. I'm committed to reconciliation. And I've said it time and time again in these meetings that I offer patience and grace to anyone willing to accept it. And that offer still stands. And there is no breach in transparency for commissioners to speak to one another, as long as it's not quorum and not deliberating on business or making votes, planning action outside of a meeting. But you can ask clarifying questions. And yes, a paper trail. I prefer the email over a phone call. In fact, there's lengthy amounts of emails that you guys can FOIA from us. There's nothing being hidden here. You speak of transparency, but you're unwilling to do the work to get what's available to you. In spite of my offer still standing, reconciliation runs both ways. It asks something of both sides, and it cannot be carried out by one side alone. If it is refused, the fault is with the one who refuses it, not the one who offered it. And in spite of all of that, I do not trade the same kinds of attacks that I have received. I do not retaliate. I hold boundaries and I speak plainly. And for that, I'm criticized. And I hold people accountable even when it is uncomfortable. And it's unfortunate to hear things like what we just heard from a local business owner, that she was lied to about an application that she was sent by somebody who represents this city. And that it took digging and asking questions of accountability, the very thing that I get criticized for, till she got finally the truth. Now, she came here to this meeting and told us of it, and quite frankly, I think, while it's fine, and it helps to shed some light on some issues that may need some attention, the proper placement for that particular issue was at the DDA. And hopefully somebody can follow up with her from staff or this body and let her know that that's really the right place to file that complaint. When accountability is met with the claim that it is gaslighting, especially on the part of those who are asking the right questions and taking the right actions to correct wrongs, it's really a tactic. It's a tactic that's used most readily by those least willing to be held accountable. In March, I said I was looking into board memberships that run against the charter and into public money used for private benefit. Yet we're fixated on this Bodman bill that's in the best interest of this city for the claims and issues that we're facing. I said it because it was true. I said those things because they were true. And those questions have not gone away. In fact, more have surfaced, and even tonight more has surfaced with the match on Main Street insight that we received from the public. And it just continues, sometimes in emails, sometimes phone calls, sometimes it's from a public comment. Last meeting, we heard from a former employee. This meeting, we heard from a couple of former employees with mixed signals as to what's going on. But that is a cue that something isn't right. And it was here long before I got here. I just asked the questions. There are people who have benefited from such a system, and they would rather I stop asking. And I'm not going to stop. Because where there's no knowledge, the people perish. That is why I ask the questions, so that we can know the truth and act in the city's best interests. On a lighter note, we have Lapeer Days coming up. Saturday, there will be a dunk tank for many benefits, I'm sure. I was contacted by those representing the Veterans Esteem Team. And unfortunately, I was unable to meet the schedule that they were requesting, but I did let them know that I was going to mention their particular organization and what they stand for, and that they're raising funds through that dunk tank, and that they will be out there on Saturday between, starting at noon, and I think it runs into the afternoon. It's my understanding that they reached out to a couple of the commissioners as well, and that Mr. Brady will be helping them raise funds for their noble benefit. And I think that that's a very great thing that we have commissioners that are available to support the community in that way. So thank you, Mr. Brady, for that. And then there's also on Sunday, from 10 to 3, I believe it is, a car show. And they have a segment where there's voting, I assume from certain segments or groups and things like that. Well, one such vote or prize that will be given to the car show contestants is the Mayor's Choice Award. And so I will be going to that particular event. My schedule does permit. And we'll make a Mayor's Choice on one of those contestants as well. But I encourage that everybody get out and have some fun during the Lapeer Days and enjoy what Lapeer has to offer and try to bring some lightheartedness and unity into this community and enjoy it and get back to that, get back to those lighthearted, unifying, community building events and attitudes. Thank you all. Have a good night. Meeting adjourned.
Mr. Brady, are you dunking or dunking? Are they dunking you or are you? You're getting dunked. Oh, I can dunk. I would do that. They can throw as long as